It's I see it up there. It's restream in my page. It shows the restream. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Let me give me a minute.
Yeah,
Oh
take your
man.
time. I thought you
All
were
right,
trying to
yeah.
say something.
No, no, no. I'm good.
Yeah,
I
the
gotta
rain's
go up
coming back
here.
to
I
the
got
west.
49%. Got 49%.
You got no charger?
Good on gas. Going back over the bridge. You know what I mean? Foxy said
Yeah,
he'll
I
be up
know.
in 30 minutes. How long goes that? Foxy done came up?
No, no, no. Park ain't came up yet. He'll be up. I said I told him to
Uh,
take care of kids and stuff, everything first, family first. Be safe, and we'll see him in a minute. Hey, Xena Connor,
okay.
what's up, Corner? How you doing? How you doing?
Okay.
If you're in here watching, I appreciate it. We are. This is the Mexican Einstein show, but we're restreaming on the Gospel of Bob. Skywalker is in a little bit of a predicament. He had to go for a drive to go do something for his old lady, and
Mm,
he missed the
a bit
turn.
late.
Dumbass.
Yeah,
Straight dumbass.
he ain't got to tell all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it.
A
Now
be
you out
late.
there in the rain, so that's why he's handicapped right now and can't do shit on the live. So, but we are gonna be transferring everybody over when he gets back out home and creates the stream. So just be prepared. Don't be afraid to come in. You guys come up on the panel as well. Come and enjoy,
No, I didn't say
and we can
no.
clown on him for having to take a long drive and being late. I hope Bob writes his ass up. I think he needs a write up for him again. Yeah, yeah. I think I got the write up for him somewhere in here. I can put it up. I can post that now that I got authority. Ah, let me find it. I gotta go to ChatGPT. Gotta find my employee write up. Yes, 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 yes. Anytime, anytime, anytime. Like I said, you ain't gotta be afraid. You're more than welcome to come up. No, I don't want to add that fool again. Why did you come on jumping up? And oh,
Gotta
she's gonna
drop the
watch the.
link.
Hmm?
Drop the link.
I did. It's in the top. It's pinned at the top of the YouTube.
Not on mine. It's not on our channel.
Oh, you got to do it on yours. Okay, I got to do it on yours. Oh man. Okay, hold on 1 second.
You gotta drop the link.
Yeah, yeah. Hush. I'll get there in a second. People,
Hey
people,
man, what's up,
people.
y'all, man? Y'all coming through, man. Y'all hit that like, share, subscribe. Over there in the Gospel Bob, hit the like, share, subscribe. Over here, Einstein. Um, I got caught in traffic. I'm on my way home. I'll be going live when I get home. But for now, y'all come on, hit the panel. Y'all come up here and hang out. And treat it like it's the Gospel Bob over here. Come black out. Just like y'all do over there. Nothing changed. Can't hear you. I'm gonna be right back up because I think your thing's messed up. Let me see if I can hear you. Don't leave.
No,
Let me
I
see if I
muted
can hear you
myself.
on
Can you hear me
StreamYard.
now?
Oh, fucking
Well,
idiot. He called me an idiot. And he's muting himself.
doing this.
Called me an idiot. Big dog, what's up, big dog? What's good with you? Said
You're an idiot,
81,
bro.
tell 84 to have some decency. Bob, shut the hell up,
Yeah, yeah.
Bob.
Tell
That's
him,
my
dog. Tell
decency.
him.
How about that?
Yeah, tell him, Bob. Tell him.
Hey, shut up.
Tell him,
See
asshole.
that? You said nothing but
Tell him,
the
Bob.
hair. LOL. The brother Mexicans. I know that's right. What's up, BD? What you been up to today, man? Me, I've been chilling. I'm on my way home. See that? Look at that. No, you don't got someone up here. Who's up here now? See that? Epoxy.
What's up now?
What's up, Epoxy? What's good with you?
I'm not,
We
man.
got this jank ass dude up here.
You can't get his
Um,
shit together.
you got some, God damn, Mexicans, man. I was having a conversation earlier, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to say, I love Mexicans. I love our culture, but we got some, some nasty ass people in our culture too, don't we? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's like I remember growing up, like my mom when we go to the grocery store or wherever, and she would always tell us, my dad is like, look, those are our people, but they're not our kind. So it's like, Mexicans, dude. If Americans could pick up the dialect, like the perfect dialect of how because our Spanish is just like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. The slang, a lot of our words do not translate, man. If they understood what we were saying in Spanish, oof. That's why, like, you see like a lot of Mexican parties or Hispanic parties, it's like always fights because of the shit they say. Skywalker fell off. You're muted. You're muted, Einstein. Oh, you're muted again.
Difficulties always.
I can hear you, kinda.
So, can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, great. Hold on. Yes, it's better. So yeah, he's on the highway right now. So
Oh,
yeah,
Skywalker's on the
Sky,
highway.
he's trying to get home right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he missed a turn somewhere, and
Okay.
let's remove this person. I left, so I did it. Okay, it'll leave in a second. Now I hope you can hear me fine because I just had
No, I can hear you good.
it was
Your
working fine, and then I had to switch up. So
your mic like mutes, unmutes, mutes, then unmutes. But right now you're fine.
okay, good. Y'all speak Spanish? No, big dog, we speak Spanish. Yo puedo hablar bien. Yo no puedo hablar más bueno de mi hermano. Mi hermano no puede hablar
Tu hermano no
español.
habla
Y
nada, no habla una palabra.
aquí, aquí un nero puede decir que no puedes hablar en inglés o español. Es América aquí. Aquí lo podemos decir que quiero hacer,
Yeah,
decir.
yeah.
Todo.
See,
See,
that's the
that's
one
how
thing.
Spanish is done, bro. Sorry,
That's the
Black
one
Bear.
thing that I had when I was working at I used to work for Johnson Controls as a controls engineer a while back, and like they would always have me translate at the hospitals because I had a laptop and went and plugged into the system and did what I had to do, but they'd always have me translate and stuff for like I guess whatever client we had, and I'm wanting to be like, I know what I got hired on my contract for. I was like, y'all need to pay me some more if you're gonna have me translate all these terminology because there were like tech terminologies and all that. So it was like, y'all not gonna play that game. Y'all gonna have to add another $15 to that to an hour by then.
Yeah, well, that's why I told my bosses at work that. Yeah, I thought I was playing
Yeah.
around. And I told
Yep.
them flat out, in the real world,
Yep.
translations by the word, not by the hour, not by the
Yep.
minute, it's by the word. And they
Yep.
looked at me funny.
Yep. So
So
my brother worked there. He before he went to college, he went to CPCC in this area's community college. It's to learn auto body.
that's
And he was working at Lowe's part time, and they tried making him, or not making him. They tried putting him like without even asking, "Hey, we need your help over
I
there."
know.
But it turned into like a daily thing. So he was like, "I ain't hired me to do all that." And it was like they showed him like some rules or whatever, and then he showed them what he signed up for, and they shut the hell up quick on that.
oh, I love it. I love it when you bring the
Well, you
handbook
have to.
or the manual out for the company, and they
Yeah.
ain't even read it, and you went through
Yeah.
it, and you're like, no, hold on.
Yep.
Let's go back to this page, and
Yep.
then they look at you stupid like, whoa,
Yep.
I didn't know you knew that.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. I
Yep.
read all contracts, especially on the work contract.
Yep. That's exactly right, man. And you have to like some of the managers, like wherever you work at, managers, supervisor, or upper, whatever they call it, whatever title they have, like you have to let them know. Like let them know on the spot. Sometimes it looks good because if you like, it means you got a backbone, and it means you know the details of the job, not to be taken advantage of. And a lot of people don't know, man. If you have a family and those kids depend on you, there are laws to protect you from that. Like if you gotta go, you gotta go. Go get your kids. Like that job can't hold you down and like then fire you. There's laws to protect you on that.
I mean, I could see, yeah, there's laws to protect you, and I could see where it could come to the point where if it's an emergency type deal that I
Hmm.
would have to leave as a father
That's what I meant.
to leave
Yep,
work to go
that's what
do
I meant.
that, it would have to be an emergency. To just
Yeah.
go pick him up every day from school,
Mhm.
I got no lady for that. She ain't working. She can go do whatever she got to do to get home.
Right, right.
Or if she is, she can make the arrangements around her job to be able to go to that because her job really isn't nothing but extra money for the house for the enjoyable things that we do, or maybe for me and her to go out and go party or buy
Yep.
kids stuff that they need. You know that the paycheck
Yep.
the man brings home doesn't work on. So yeah, I'm with you on that. It's hell. It's hell.
Yeah.
I
That's
know.
that's why that's one of the main that job was great, dude. When I was doing the HVAC control software engineer, man, that was good, man. But it went to the whole thing where, well, where you going? Where you going now? We're not going now, but like I would leave and they would call to check in to see make sure all the software's up to date, and they would ask where I was going. I was like, well, I'm gonna go pick up my kid from school. Like this is my week with her. Like I have her. It's like it's one of them things. Is like because at the time the ex-wife would like use it against me if I would call her or whatever if I couldn't do it.
Yep.
So it was one of them things. It was
That,
like,
that's an emergency type site here.
yeah,
That's a situation where
yep,
if you don't do this,
yep,
then you in the opt of losing
yep,
your child.
yep,
To the upbringing
yep,
that same way.
yep. I
But
mean,
and that's understood.
and this goes to the young people, like they're trying to get a career going, but if you have a family, or if you don't have a family, if you have somebody that you gotta take care of, or if like work is getting like in the way of your personal life, like you have these supervisors or whatever that are doing too much, just let them know up front, like let them know straight up, like hey, I get it and everything, but and be more, you can be professional about it, and like being professional and like at a young age, it does get hard. It gets easier as you get older. But like if you just tell them, oh, look, there's too many people here. This is not the place. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, and that'll be it. That'll be it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll get you to the side. Or you need somebody else there. I mean, you don't just pull them to the side. It's like, look, I don't appreciate the way you said all this and this and this and all that. So it's like you just gotta let them know up front. Because at the end of the day, you're a man as well. You're not to be stepped on.
Yeah, but there's sometimes that these managers take it to the extreme, and those are the ones
They
I
do.
don't like.
Uh,
There's people in hierarchy who
yep.
get this authority badge, and then they act like they want to pin everything on everybody and do everything really harsh. I
Yep.
don't like those type of workers. I don't like those type of people. I will not work for them type of people.
Yep.
And you're right. For the young people that are out there, I mean, you have to be able to stand on business.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody that I come in contact, I'm more valuable to the company than the company is to me.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I can do the work. The
Yep.
company has to find or hire somebody to do that work.
Yep.
And that's what people have to say. A lot of people have lost that charisma, that stand on it. Hey, look, man, you ain't gonna treat me like this at work just because I work for you. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. I got these skills. I do these skills perfectly. I'm not good at those skills, so don't make me do this shit because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get it done. And then we're gonna
Yep.
have fights because you didn't like the way I did it.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they gotta stand on business, tell people because if not, that's how people get emotionally hurt so bad too.
Yeah.
Like say the wrong word or the wrong thing, and they go home and cry forever. It's like it sucks.
And and
But
granted, like supervisors like that, because I mean, the only young people I've ever had that was upper management above me was like when I used to work at Lowe's as well when I went to college. I paid for like my college, my books and all that, and there was only one guy. He he was socially not there because he was one of those people where he got that position and you could tell that he was just using and abusing. And I remember when I was we were setting up the display. It was me and this other brother from like Baltimore. He was cool. And then the other guy was like, "Come on, Juan, on the land." And I looked at him like, "All right, look here, motherfucker. Like, you play all those games all you want with those other people out in the back and in the front. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, one more underlay out of you, I'm gonna slap that fucking earpiece at your mouth, or out his ear, because he had like a hearing aid. It was like, I'm gonna slap you in your good ear and give you another hearing aid in that one." And I did threaten him, and I went to the HR for that. The manager was cool, and like the guy that I said that to, I was like, well, he threatened me, and I was like, what did you tell him? I was like, I didn't tell him anything. And I was like, and then the guy from the other assistant manager from Baltimore told him, but no, you know what you said to him, and you know why you were doing it, and they dropped it. And so, and I told him still, I was like, man, I still slapped the shit out of you. But
yeah,
that's when I was
yeah,
like young,
yeah.
dude. It was like young, like your emotions are running, and like you wanting to do everything and anything. I didn't have a kids or family at that time to where they like. I know they depended on me, so It's one of those things where you just gotta just kind of have to eat it. And and a lot of the stuff, dude, that we did when we were young, like you look back at it now and it's like almost embarrassing, man. It's like the stuff that you did and said, man. I'm surprised I'm not in
It,
prison, honestly.
it is embarrassing because you know why? Because you go back and look at it and you're
Yeah,
like, I could have handled that in a way different fashion.
yeah,
I could have did that in a better style where it
yeah,
didn't harm anything. And
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I decided to do in my past the concealed carry and all that. Because that humbled me, bro.
yeah,
I'm telling
yeah,
you, getting into fights changed my world because I am a person. Ask
yep,
my brother. If we have to get
yep,
down somewhere with somebody, that shit, I'm pretty sure you know it'll be the same way with you. If
yep,
you have to get down somewhere, just do it. Fist to fist, fight, whatever, and then end
yeah,
up whoever want to lose a draw, right?
yep,
But yeah, that thing right there has handled a whole bunch of business without even handling business
yep,
ever in life. And
yep,
it's calmed me down and what made me walk away and understand that I can make a change and I just don't do it this way. Because if I
yeah,
step forward, I'm in trouble. If I just
yep,
walk away, it's easier. So I walked away
yeah,
from jobs. I walked away from all kinds of stuff because of the experiences you had right
same.
there, where they tell you to do something that ain't part of your, in your contract or in your job description.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I walked away from good jobs like that. I just won't be treated like shit.
See, when I started my business, I was like doing like a lot of little small local stuff, like people's garages, doing stuff like that, renovating. And then, this is when I just got done graduating from college almost, and nobody was giving me a job. I went to like over 80 interviews, man. I'm like, you know what? I'm not waiting for nobody to give me a damn job. Like, I'm gonna start something. And long story short, like I bought this one lead bid, and I live in North Carolina, and I went to South Carolina. The job was 4 hours away. I didn't care about that. I was like, you know what? I'll drive 4 hours away. It don't matter to me. And I went down there, and it turned into like a small little contract with Taco Bell. And I ended up doing like 30 of them. And like I did a couple in Florida, and then the last one I did in Florida was this, like it was in a winter garden Orlando. And
Okay,
yeah, they were complaining and bitching. This one dude was like, man, I don't like the way this is. Like, dude, I don't care if you like it. Like, where's the main guy at? And so the main guy came another little Juan is like, if he says that it's gotta be like that, it's gotta be like that. Dude, it was like it was just it got out of hand and I walked off. I was like, where you going? I was like, man, you can kiss my ass with this project. It was like I started running my business so I can do my thing. Not for y'all to start giving me orders and shit. And then they started this whole like, well, if you don't finish this, I was like, man, look, that's the thing, man. People like that don't act like you don't know the laws. You don't know the laws, subcontracting laws, contractor laws. There's laws for everything. And some people
so
just because they get threatened, they just assume that you shouldn't say anything, not do anything. Now, granted, I wanted to do a whole lot of action, but at the same time, when I was running my business, I got to be careful with what I say, how I say it. I guess code change, as people would call it. So I was like, no, you know what? Like, I better not. Let me just walk away and I'll just get a lawyer or something like that. And I figured out the best way to grab people and damage people now is like with the the legal way.
bro, it's the best way to do that is put liens on their homes.
Oh yeah,
That's the most
do that all
honest
the
way
time.
to ever do it. I'm bringing it up. There you are.
Hey guys,
Hey, what's up?
let me know
Hey,
if there's too much noise in the background. Let me know. But you guys were just talking about the laws, right? That were supposed to protect us, like if at work. I don't know, man. I don't think those apply anymore now that we got a new president, and now that he's fired all those people, and you know what I'm saying. Like we don't really have the protections we used to. I don't think.
I mean, the laws are still laws, regardless.
Still love,
They
yeah,
didn't take the laws away. They're still implemented, still in the books.
But the
You
law,
know,
like you have
learn
to
how
have
to use
money to
loopholes.
like to go take care of it, right? Like you need to get a lawyer. You need to
yeah.
actually pay for stuff.
Now
And
I
then
I'm
and
mean,
then you have to wait for it if it comes at all, and it's just a long process. It just seems like it's pointless, especially when people don't have money to do that.
see.
yeah, but if
I'm
you got a business
implementing.
and you're running one, you can. There's options for you that are different because at these points you don't have to do a lot, but actually file a lien against the ownership of the home or the ownership of the property. And then if those things ain't taken care of, then there's options for you to take those businesses over or the land over. So if you're doing work for people and they don't pay, there's a lot of minimal things you can do to make that happen and force them to pay you. So you just gotta learn it. That's what we call them.
But
Yeah.
in places like Wisconsin, they have like opportunity zones, and those are like for businesses that can run like without those types of protections for employees. They call them opportunity zones. I think that's what they call them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's what I did early in the beginning. But I'll be honest, it's like my business grew and grew more. A lot of
That's good.
those laws that Trump used and abused, it's
Mhm.
basically they're there and they're hidden. If you get the right lawyer when they do your taxes and whatnot, those
Mm.
benefit me. I'm not gonna lie to you that and tell you that I didn't use them. I used them because they're there, and that's the thing. Like, that's the bad thing. If you have a small business, but if you're just starting up, it is what it is. You're only gonna be able to afford whatever you can to hire and protect you and certain insurances and all that. And I get it, man. I got burned early in my beginning of my business, so I mean, in the long run, thank God everything went great. But a lot of those laws are there for, and I as as it sounds, is like if you have money, it's one of those things that you can take credit of and advantage of. So yeah, but it's not right. It should be equal across the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
It's true, but the thing that doesn't make it equal across the board is the study and the knowledge that you get behind finding these loopholes.
Yeah,
You're the one who went through it. You're the one who found it. You're the one who knows how to use it. Why not benefit off of these?
yeah,
And that's the thing. And I feel bad for the state that she was talking about, that the opportunity zones. That's a crushing industry there. That's going to kill the little man in
Yeah.
general, the
Yeah.
worker and the little business. It's not good.
But it's going to be less taxes for the business, and then they won't pass. Maybe they won't pass it on to the the consumer. So that's what they hope, right? When they have those tax write-offs and stuff like that.
see, the great thing
Yeah,
about like those taxes is when I do my taxes, I pay almost. I don't want to say almost nothing. I pay nice, but the thing is though, a lot of that money that I've could have gone to the IRS or whatnot, like everything is legal. It's done legally, but all that money that I do save, I give them to my employees some way, some shape or another. Stocks, pools, or just whatever is needed for that time.
Yeah. The more we get, the more we like to spread, right? That's
No,
how
that is true.
but that's how I am too. But like with my job recently, the pay has been like worse. I do
Mhm.
gig work right now, but but um but when I got paid like before, like a lot more money. I used to give gift cards. I used to give like tips to like to associates that I work with, like
Yeah,
all the time. Like, but now I can't do that anymore. I can't even get gas now. It's terrible.
yeah,
Wow.
it is trash. I think it's like I'm almost seeing almost $6 a gallon. No, wait, almost a gallon here for diesel. I think it was six
Yeah.
dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Low right now it's 5.79 right now. I'm passing right now. And
That's
it's
like
at a
we're getting
BP
up
is
there.
four, and the regular gas is 4.25, but everywhere else is
Yep.
4.29,
Yep.
and the diesel is a little higher.
Seriously, this is like it sounds like a huge distraction, right? It sounds like this is a distraction. It's meant to squeeze us. It's meant to make it so that we're not paying attention.
I don't think honestly, I think this is one of those fuck ups where because I've heard Trump and a couple of his, I know a lot of his members and his I guess in his team, I know they didn't all agree with it, but I really think that they thought and assumed that this was going to be a quick one. I don't think that they thought that Iran was going to be pushing back this much because Venezuela was a quick thing, but I don't think they thought Iran. Look, Iran is
They
never
just said
a.
it's almost over.
Oh, they can say as much as they want, all they want.
Yeah, they can.
It's day 40. It was like day 40, day whatever. It's
Yeah,
like
that's what they say.
this is why you never. They always say it's Middle East battle or war, whatever you want to call it. It's never gonna be. We can't settle it. They can only settle it. Like that's why whenever like Israel was starting to do their shit, I don't know why the hell we got involved. That ain't our fight. But we can't
Shit, well,
handle
we've been
that.
paying them. We'll be giving them money, so we're invested in it.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Like if it was like if you went in there and like actually took everybody out, like their leaders, and actually put something good there, but like that's not gonna happen. The Middle East has never been controlled, and it won't never be controlled. That's just the way it's gonna go. It's like they're fighting over that Holy Land. You think if like America goes in there, takes that Holy Land, and it's like American territory, you think Israel's going to be cool with that? Like they're not going to be cool with that. Israel wants that. And, like for some reason, like as soon as they say something, like we jump.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty sad on
No,
both
that's not
sides.
necessarily true. Because if that's the case, it wouldn't have took 40-something years.
It's
That's
You
why
know
it's
not.
what I
taking so long, is
mean?
because nobody gets it. Nobody's looking at
That's
what's
what I'm trying
happening
to
over
tell you,
there.
Scott. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna be peace ever over there, dude. It's always gonna be a. It's gonna be like that until this Earth either blows up or whatever happens, dude. It's
Earth
just
blows
it's
up.
always been like that over there.
Damn. That's a
It's
lot of
not.
money we're wasting.
So
Nothing's ever gonna be fixed. That's just the way the Middle East was. God intended it to be like that over there, dude. As
I
soon
know
as
that we
I've
talking
always
about
been
right.
an advocate of
I know
finishing
another.
the Wall of China, wrapping that area all up in the Wall of China, and just letting them go at it for as long as to the last man stands.
and they'll do it.
You guys are right. They're never going to end that war. That holy war has been going on
Yeah,
since Jesus Christ was born,
yeah,
supposedly. So it's never going to end. Why not just let them box them in, let them all duke it out until they're done? Even give them little small nukes. So they
To
can
the
take that
last man
little area,
standing.
and that's
yeah,
it. Last man standing wins land and
yeah,
everything over there.
yeah.
Piece
The
of
Simple.
Holy
fucking
Land is
shit.
yours.
All right, so let's say like they do duke it out, and everybody like and they're gone, and Israel's there, but then Saudi Arabia, they're allies with the U.S. Then you have like Saudi Arabia won in that area now. Like so, it's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's never gonna stop, dude. It's just
Well, then we go to war with them, and then once we got that, then we bomb Saudi Arabia because that's the only thing that's going to be left there. So then we just take them out, and then it'll be American land, and
Then
then
we'll
we're
have all
good.
that oil.
yeah.
Yeah,
But hey,
Let's just go skip ahead a few steps.
hey man,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
whatever, dude. It's
I,
like
I like that
So
it's
idea.
hard
I
to
like
watch
it.
it,
I think
bro,
it's the
because
best
we.
idea.
uh,
She is right. We spent so much money on these wars that we could have upgraded the United States 4 or 5 times in many
Reparations. We
ways.
could have passed reparations. Yep.
we're in the greatest country ever, and y'all complaining.
oh
Oh
no,
no
I
no!
need to.
I don't
no,
complain.
Hey,
we're not
listen, man, we're
complaining.
gonna
I'm all
get.
about
Hey,
America. I'm
listen,
happy.
If you talking, we got 3 Mexican wetbacks up here. Need to get their asses up out of
I'm
here.
gonna go
Get
down
them
with
up
the
out of
ship.
here.
You know what,
Get them up out of here.
Einstein?
Goddamn.
I'm gonna give you some money. I'm gonna donate some money so you can take Sky to a library. And like, I don't know if he's,
Oh,
I don't know if he's allowed. I don't even know if he remembers what a library is. But just so he can study up, so he can know
What
that
is it? A
place over
library?
there is
What is it called?
never gonna
Library?
be controlled.
What is it
Never,
called?
dude.
Library? Library
Library,
or
like, dude
what
is
you
like,
want me to go lure something? Do you want me to go lure something? I have to go to Minnesota for that.
I don't know. You go to Chicago if you want.
Yeah, I got to
Just
go
chat
lure something.
Like,
GPT it.
man, like the only thing, Scott, I think what we're saying here is that we should have never got our troops because there's troops over there right now. Like we should have never got involved in that. Like we're
Yeah, I
just
agree with that.
it's for no reason. They're
But
gonna
I
like
think
people are gonna get hurt. Like we already have troops hurt, and like there's no reason for us to be over there. Like we can control it from over here if you want to fund it. I guess that's their boys because I know a lot of those small hats they donated a lot to the politicians so that way they can like get the laws that they want. But at the same time, there's no need to be sending like our kids like our young like troops over, man, for no reason. They're gonna be dying for no reason. It's gonna be a loss for no reason. Those families are gonna have like that on them. So it's like it shouldn't be over
we're
there.
gonna have pastors coming back to the United States for absolutely no
well,
reason at all.
see, the
That's
numbers
for
probably
sure.
say different because there was a uprising, uptick in the people that wanted to sign up for the army and the military and all that shit. So they must want to go fight for this
Oh,
country. They
patriotism,
must
yeah.
know what was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they must have wanted to fight for this
Yeah,
country.
yeah,
My thing
I
is,
can
I
understand
agree
that.
with y'all saying. I see what y'all saying, but at the end of the day, it's like today I heard somewhere they're talking about here in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Not here. It's not too far along. Venezuela and Venezuela and us are we cooperating ever since we done took out Maduro. So now here in a minute they're gonna be refining that oil, and it's gonna be back to back to normal, back to popping really. You know what I
Which
mean?
is
Because like I
fine.
said, it is what it is. Listen, I'm a
Yeah.
part of America. I understand. I was one of them people. Oh man, we're the worst country ever. We're always going to take everybody's
No,
shit.
Oh,
This and
no.
that, that.
That's
You know
no.
what? I grew up. I grew up. I
well,
grew
I'm
up.
glad you grew up.
I'm an a fucking
Glad you grew up.
American.
You were
I'm an
confused. You
American.
confused yourself.
You're right. And
You
I
knew this
grew up.
country was great
I'm
when
an
I came here.
American. Yes, I'm an American, and if we're gonna be the bullies, I want to be on the bully side. That's all I
Y-
can say about that. You know what I mean? It is what it
USA.
is.
Yeah,
Yep.
which
USA.
we agree. I think the Venezuela was one of those things that I think it was going to get fixed. Hell, I'll tell you what, anything south of the border, all the way down to South America, like America can fix. Like we're talking about like in an area that we gotta fly over and then cross the seas on. It's like I'm not saying we can't, but what I'm saying is that ain't our battle, man. So it's like it's just one of them things where it's like we're battling for somebody else because they paid so many people politicians' pockets. It's like it's
Yeah,
not that's not good.
Yeah. What's up, Ada?
the
What is
trip.
that? It's a Ada knows.
What's up,
How you doing?
Skywalker?
Nice to see. Hold up, 12 man. Nice to see you. This the MeciCanEinstein show. He's up there in the black screen right now. You can't see him. You can hit that like, share, subscribe. We'll really appreciate that. If you want to go over there to the Gospel Bob, we can hit the like, share, subscribe over there. And yeah, appreciate you coming over here. Right now, what topic is? What do we topic is? The oils, the straight up moves, all that political stuff, whatever you
Everything,
want to
yeah.
bring up, basically.
Bro.
Yeah, we're
But
right now
yeah,
just
man.
talking about the Iran war, what's happening over there, and discussing all those situations. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
with
like I
it.
said,
Just let them all bomb
like
each
right.
other,
I
bro.
think who was it? What was it? Damn, who was it? They're just now talking about they're going to let some oil through the Straits of Hormuz,
Yeah,
which will be the Straits of America here soon, hopefully. And then, like I said, it don't even really matter now at the time. Um,
Yeah,
Once
but
the what is
we
that
can't.
Bering Strait melts, once the Bering Strait melts, we control that. That's gonna be a whole nother route. And now we got Venezuela. You know what I mean? So, they can go to hell. You know what I mean? Or get on
yeah.
program with us. That's all it is to it. You know
We'll
what I mean?
control
That's how I see it.
Venezuela, but we ain't controlling no damn Middle East, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. I get the whole rah 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 rah, but like that's the whole Middle East, man. That's like
They're
that's
savage. They're very savage.
the Saudis are gonna control all that. You ain't we
It's a
ain't
Yeah,
doing
and
different
that.
then
world over there,
And
bro. They're like it is here. I can
this is
understand
what
when they're
we'll
talking
do.
about here and things like that, but we're talking about over there.
Yeah.
Well, then this is
This
what
is a
we'll
war
do.
that
It'll
hasn't been
be a
stopped for over a century.
We can
Well,
control here. Man.
we'll just do it like this. Let's bring that third one out that they didn't drop. It was Hiroshima and
Yeah,
Nagasaki. There's
that's what we said.
one more that they didn't drop. Let's reactivate it. You know
I
what I
said
mean?
no, hell
Rick,
no.
what's good
Then
with you, sir?
everybody's gonna want to do it. Hell no. I'm good on that. I got
Hey,
contracts.
it was funny. It was funny when Trump sat there and looked at it when he was in the interview with the Japanese lady, and he said, "Yeah, Japanese nerd," and
No,
that lady's jaw just went like,
yeah, no, he told them that like how come you guys didn't tell us about this? It was like, well, how come y'all didn't tell us about Pearl Harbor?
"Yeah,
Oh, that was fucking wonderful. Oh
that
man.
was hilarious."
Oh,
good
we
though.
know
That
they
was
can
good.
keep. What did he say? We know they can keep secrets, huh? They didn't tell us.
Yeah,
Oh man, that was her eyes, and her face like shot up. Like what the? Oh man, that was beautiful.
Oh man,
Trump
you
is the
got us.
beat. Trump
I
is
know.
the goat, man.
I
Yeah,
know what's his
Trump is
name.
the
Twelfth
goat,
man wanted to
man.
say something. Go ahead, Twelfth man. You're not in your happy hour. I guess you're 24 hours, are you?
no, the DEA took down a bunch of dirt bags in Ecuador,
Oh yeah,
so that
yeah. He's always doing their
that's a
job.
bunch of less dirt
That's
bags we got to worry about in the United States.
yeah.
That's
Uh,
all I wanted
Trump
to
also
say.
fired Pam Bondi, from what I understand. I think
Mm-hmm.
that happened
Huh?
today. I heard something about Trump fired Pam Bondi or something like that today too.
Yeah, she got like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
So
that's a long time coming. We knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's like.
doesn't it? Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
guys.
No,
No,
no, go
I was
ahead.
Yeah,
just
she
gonna
up
say,
out of there.
doesn't it bother you guys that there's an underlying lining like plan? They know what's gonna happen. Like they already know what they're doing. Like but they're not gonna tell us, but they have the plan. We know we're gonna suffer during it, and it's just like at least let's ask for something. Like if we're gonna have to suffer, let's force reparations. Like I'm sorry, that's gonna be my main priority always on the panel. Let's force reparations in favor of war. Okay, we'll go for the war if we have to, but let's do the reparations first because we know we have the money for the war. Let's do it for the reparations. We have like what
Reparations
two
for
two what
what?
two
Listen,
for
hey,
Uh-oh.
Melissa,
if we're
as bad as I hate to say it,
$2 billion on
I've
war.
said this
For the
before, right?
war. Yeah. We talked about this.
Listen, as bad as I hate to say it, and Epoxy, you remember we said this, right?
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
sending all this money over there. They're letting all these Mogadishus and these Muslims and
I
all these
agree.
damn
You
Somalis
might as
take
well
us
get
money.
reparations. Yep.
Let these people let them get the reparations. Then fuck it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? If they want to
Yeah.
let everybody else get our money,
Yeah.
it
I
will
agree.
stay
Oh
here in
no.
America.
I don't mean anybody else but Black Americans. That's all I'm talking about. From slavery to mass incarceration to
But
Yeah.
every day,
what I'm saying.
every day,
That's what
even
I'm saying. Agreeing with
the
you.
elimination
What
of
we're saying is
diversity. Sorry,
why there's
I can't. What's wrong with my
yeah.
phone?
Someone Borging out.
That Sky. It's probably because he's driving.
What I'm saying, oh, that's yeah. What I'm saying is that I rather them get the reparation, the black, because they'll stay in America instead of
Exactly.
going all out to America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I'm
exactly,
saying. So
Yep.
exactly.
fuck the Muslims and them goddamn Somalis. You know what I mean?
Okay, I agree with that. If
They
that's
got
if
What
you
the
can
hell
agree
is
with me, I
Somali's
agree
got to
with that.
do anything with it, Sky?
Sorry, I just I have to stick to my priority. So yeah, cool with all the dying and everything. Just give the Americans that deserve it the most, and a long time coming.
Hold up. I deserve it the most, so I should get it first.
Okay.
That's funny.
I'm
The
just saying.
reparations.
what
Oh, it's like, so, like,
I'm
the
talking
entire
to
world got reparations somehow,
13%.
some way, form.
What was that?
So, like, the rest, because I know I hear the
I'm
arguments
talking to
that, like,
13%.
that the Irish got, like, the reparations, the Chinese got the reparations, but, like, what's
Japanese, I think.
okay. So, okay, see, that's, I mean, I do get it, but at the same time, it's like, if it didn't happen now, I don't see it ever happening again. Because I know, hell, a lot of, like, when like the Spanish
Like,
settled in like in Mexico and like just savaged all that up, it's like
yeah,
it just
so
kind
we
of like
came up.
life kind of just went on its own. Because I know they had slave ports where they took like a lot of the native Mexicans or at the time in that area and like they were
I,
using
Hey, give
servants. They
me
took
one
them
second, Apostle. Give me one second.
and just
I'm
continue.
talking about
Hey,
a country that was
hey,
built
what-
on
Mountain,
people
can you come
like
up?
warehousing people. We have a whole economies on the prison industry just to warehousing people. Like
Right.
we warehouse. Well, I mean, from the beginning, when it comes to like when they like
Yeah, bro. If you
the
don't
slave
clam up, I'm
slavery
not gonna let
people
you up.
like everybody who was free, all those except in cases of punishment. So
Right.
slavery is okay, as long as it's not punishment. But so for the longest time we've been like what's it called when you something slaves when you rent out slaves
Right.
for work for free work labor and stuff. I
Right.
think it's just
Gotcha.
and what it's done to families, what we've done, what liberal policies have done to Black American families
You
is
can now.
crazy.
Okay.
I think
What is
yeah,
that?
that's
That's
where
a
I am.
long ass name, man. Saint Swarthy the Pen
Saint Swarty, the Pan African Destroyer. How you doing this evening, brother?
Destroyer. Okay.
Hola,
Hey,
the
shalom,
Latino
shalom, you
panel.
guys, which means
Okay.
peace. You noticed that? I noticed that. You need to step down to respect the heritage.
You're breaking up.
You're breaking up real bad. You have to come out right then. Check the mic. Bad signal.
Anyways, I just came out here because of the whole opportunity zones. I wanted to point out the opportunity zones.
Right. You know
Yeah.
what? I think there's I don't have any issue with ICE and all that. I just have the issue with how it's done because I don't think a lot of those people are trained. But I think the only issue, man, is these warehouses that are trying to buy. Those like, and I get when you deport, and I get when you have to house them or put them somewhere to deport them. But like at some point in time, I'm like, I feel like we're just like because the amount of people that get sex trafficked in America, and then there's like human trafficking is high as hell. And like I've always had that's what always been like one of my things. Like when I was in high school and in college, I always studied it. I went to school for it. So I look at like all that, and I was like, I don't. That's one of those things where I don't. I'm very uneasy. That's why I'm very protective of my kids and my family members. I was like, nah, y'all go as groups wherever y'all need to. But and there's a bunch of people that go missing in these like military bases as well. They just they just disappear. Fort
Oh my
Bragg
gosh.
and all these are like other places like those bases like where you have to have high credentials to get in or a very strict like background check. People just go
Yeah.
missing.
Wow.
Well, there was a whole tie deal to the Erica Kurt thing in Siberia or whatever, where she
Right.
had her little orphanage thing that near a base
Right.
where a whole bunch of young girls were disappearing, and that whole organization had to move from there. So I can believe you that people disappear around bases and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like it's nothing. So
Russians.
it's the Russians.
And I
They're
know
Russian
that
coming.
spies.
Oregon and what's it called? Taking organs from people and shit. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
It's
that's a
called
thing. It's like,
it's called organ harvesting.
yeah, organ
Yes.
harvesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they busted up a big organ harvesting thing in Seattle, Washington one time. There's a whole shipload of them
But
just
go ahead.
being harvested for their
You can
organs.
you can make-
That's
you can
true.
make a lot of money harvesting
Yeah.
organs. It's a
Yeah.
very
I don't. I
lucrative
don't. I don't
business.
donate. I'm not a
It
donator.
is. It is. People will pay for certain body parts, and they'll pay millions of dollars for certain body
Yeah.
parts. So
Yeah. That's why
yeah,
they let the kill. That's why they let the murders go on in those high violent cities like Milwaukee and stuff. I think that's what I think at least.
I believe so.
Yeah, so
You know,
what happens is they traffic young women mostly for their organs in order to do that. So it's a huge human trafficking thing that's going on with that.
Well,
And
that's what
there's
we're
like
talking about.
Not even funny.
a hell of a ton of like women and children that go missing on the what's it called, on the Native American um areas. The
yeah, on the
Mm.
reservation.
reservations.
The
Yeah, they a
Yeah,
reservations.
lot of them go missing. Very like a lot.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, that's a problem on its own because the Native Americans will sell their own kids into slavery or
Still doesn't
just
make it right.
about
You gotta crack
anything
down on it.
else to
That's the
Well,
point.
let's
get
not
their
hold on,
next
hold on. That
bottle of
statement right
whiskey.
there, I don't like that
Okay?
I know, right?
because not only have Native Americans or Africans or white people across the board, if you look at history, there's been families that have sold their children off just to survive,
Yeah,
and
drugs.
there's been
Yeah.
times they've sold them off for drugs or prostitution and things like that. It's a factual
Oh,
thing
you're
that
saying,
happens.
no, hold on a minute. So you're saying that the parent actually gives a flying, you know what, when they sell their child into whatever they're selling it into? I don't
It
think
happens.
so.
It
Happens.
happens, bro.
That happens a
It
lot.
it
That's
does.
happens.
It
It's
happens.
not
bullshit.
a.
It does
It's
happen.
not a. It's not a
Oh,
raw
I'm
reality
just
that you want
doing
to
it
see,
to
but it's a
survive.
gruesome reality that
I'm
happens.
just gonna sell my baby to survive. What a load of shit.
Yeah, that's the way they look at it, bro.
Yeah,
In these third world countries, that happens more often than what you think.
you're very boxed. It's like it's one of those mentalities that, oh, I don't think all that crazy shit happens outside of America because I'm not there. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Like
Same, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it does
Different
happen
it's
here.
some evil. It's some very
different
evil shit
cultures,
that happens.
but different cultures have different
It does
practices. I know
happen
some
here.
Yep.
cultures
It
they
does.
think that it's disgusting to eat cheese. So when
Yeah.
you start to study different tribes and different civilizations, you'll find out that some of the things that were normal to them would be grotesque to others. So different cultures have different practices.
yeah, it's very true. But
You don't sell your own kid.
Yeah,
I don't give
like
a
it. Yeah, I
fuck
agree
what
with that.
tribe you're
but
from.
fuck that. We're not talking about. We're not talking about Americans. Well, some Americans do and have done that. But we're not talking about like there is people who have done that in the past just to say they can survive, and then they go have another one so they can do it again. I mean, some of these people even farm themselves out just to have
Yeah.
money from the processing or selling of kids. So I mean, it's very grotesque out in this world, and you got to understand and open your eyes a little more and think outside the box because these things do happen. It's not
Yeah,
probable.
okay.
It's not plausible. It's factual. So that's just what that
Well,
is.
tell that to the FBI.
Hey, I tell it to the FBI if I saw one happening. As a matter of fact, I'd save that child.
And you can tell it to
So
the FBI all you want. They can't solve every case, every crime, every second, every minute that it happens. It's like there's only so much you could do. It's
yeah,
that's just one of those things that
Majority of the
you
cases
know
don't even get
Benjamin
solved.
Franklin when
Well, they
Benjamin
crack
Franklin
a
talked
lot
about
of them.
slavery, he said that it was one of those he called it a luxury and it was an evil that needed I forgot what how he worded it, but it was an evil that needed to happen in order for things to change. Basically, things need to happen in order for things to change. In which
They
and I think
just
it seems like more like that we just keep repeating it. because I think we either are not informed or we just turn a blind eye because we're so like invested into like social media and everything now that we don't want to lose that time.
The FBI just took down a child sex ring in Seattle like a week ago.
Oh yeah, you know how
Are
many there are in
y'all
America?
paying attention?
You know how many of those are in America,
I
boss
have.
man?
A lot.
Mm.
The entire map is filled with a dot. It's disgusting, man. It's like it's one of those things where those evils that do exist, they're there, but it's like I said, it's like you have to. Everybody has to do their own research in their own area. Look up a map of
You saw
PDF,
that video with
vendors, and
Tim
whatever.
Tebow
Oh,
where
I
he
know
showed
where
all of
they
those
come from.
locations. I can
Yeah,
tell you seen that video with Tim Tebow where he showed all those locations of
that
people
and
who have been
I went
flagged
for
as.
international studies. And that was one of my topics. It was but one of my minors is in the Holocaust, human trafficking, human violence.
Oh, okay. You study this.
Yeah, yeah. Of like that's one of those things. I love. I'm in the computer science and the electrical engineering, but I love human history, nature, and like how religion shapes everything. Uh, Violence of the past shapes the present and the future. It's yeah, I love it, dude.
It's
Yeah,
like
man,
law.
it's good to not have your feelings involved in the research and
Yeah.
studying of history.
Yep.
I was talking to a Ethiopian friend of mine who's from the Habesha clan, and he actually talked about how they would sell each other into slavery or
Yeah.
servitude in East Africa. And he felt a little ashamed to admit it, but I've matured as an adult and as a researcher to where I don't necessarily see the practice of the West Africans or the Mayans or Europeans or the Hebrews as I've matured to understand different cultures just have different practices.
Yeah.
I'm not as offended in it as I used to be.
Same. Same with me. And I think that happens with age. And the more you know, the more you see, the more foul stuff that you see, I think it I think it matures you. So that way you don't get so emotionally invested. It's like with sports and boxing that you're so emotionally invested into the group that you come from.
Yeah, but it's kind of like we're numbing ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah, I think if you start seeing the world for what it is, you'll start acting accordingly. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A
With
lot of
time,
people
it's
that
just like with anything. Problems that you
when
have
we
with
grow
Right.
anybody,
up,
like time heals everything. And I think the more
yeah,
invested you are, the more knowledgeable you know. And it's okay not to know something, but like you can research it on your own, find out what the truth is, and then like grow from that.
well, no
Don't
one
think about it.
knows every fucking
Oh,
thing. Come
nobody knows
on,
anything.
man.
Nobody knows anything, but like a lot of people on the internet sure love to. All you gotta use is that
I
Google.
was just about to
Google is
say
Chat
very
you got a lot
GPT.
of I call them the wiser than thou clan on YouTube. You can't tell them
Facebook.
nothing. They know everything. Shut up! Don't
Yep.
recommend shit. You don't know shit. I'm gonna mute you and block you and put you in the back
Yep.
Yep, cancel culture.
mm,
Yeah, the wiser than thou crew. Yeah, I call it the YouTube cool table
Yeah.
too. Yep, they be
Yeah.
arrogant and proud, thinking they know everything.
Hmm.
So, can I ask y'all a question? What do y'all think about birthright citizenship, and who do you think it applies to?
I just kind of looked at what the original context of it was, and I understand what it originally was for, how it got extended to people who weren't necessarily descendants of chattel slavery. So, um,
Well,
I don't think we should. I think we should have it like people that are grandfathered in to like to the country, but the people that are recent, like who are just illegals coming over here to just have kids and like have a reason to stay or have reasons to, I don't know, to prolong the inevitable. I think that's not fair to the children.
so,
No, it
so
isn't, but it used to be like that. That's one of the reasons why a lot of Spanish folks and Mexicans and Hondurans and stuff like that came to the United States from down south to be able to have their kid here so they can have that grandfathered situation. And now
Yeah,
that
there's a
they've taken that away, how many back generations are really going to go for that?
yeah, there's a whole
And it's almost
industry
like,
on that,
yeah,
like people buying packages so they can have their kids here.
yeah.
I don't know.
So like back to the whole thing with all this child trafficking and everything going on. I mean, it's horrid. It's horrid. It's really bad, and it's sad to see that people will even think that they can do that to something that ain't even able to protect itself. It's just hard. It's hard, but It happens. People sell their kids into slavery. People sell their kids into prostitution. People sell their kids for drugs. It's one of the most horrid things that I've ever had to see or see. And I'm a father of three kids that I created. No way in hell could I even think of doing that. Now, I'd go cut off a body part and sell it before I even saw my kid. That's just me.
Right?
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like the topic of slavery myself because I think it's an overdrawn topic. I think reparations end at a certain percentage of the bloodline from the original slaves, and that should be where the gain and profit is and difference. There's no interest added to it. It boils down to very low minimum dollars, if any. If reparations are owed and wanted. And like I told A one day, he was up here. I told him you can't even do. You shouldn't be worried about the reparations. Just stop worrying about the reparations and start doing preparations. Because the more you prep yourself to be a better person in life and future, you're not going to have to worry about that little change of chump money that they're going to want to give you
But
and embarrass you
you
about.
know,
And they,
if the FPA really wants reparations, they should go after their African grandmothers and grandfathers who sold them to the to America to, for bags of beans and rice, literally,
but
and
hold up,
drink
bro.
it.
You don't
Why
understand.
don't
It's
they
not.
go
The
after
slavery
them for
situation doesn't have to
reparations?
do with just African Americans. You got Irish, you got Chinese, you got Japanese, you got many
Well,
other
I
different
don't
cultures
see
that were
them
enslaved at the
suing
same
for
time.
reparations.
So it can't be
I
just
don't
reparations for one specific
know.
color. It
Yeah,
can't.
but
You talk to the
Chinese
white
and
Irish that were back
Mexicans
then
are
in that
not
point.
suing
Hold
for
on, 12.
reparations.
Hold on, 12. Hold on.
Only
You can't.
tethers are.
Hold on,
Tethers
12.
and
Listen. No, no, no. Hold up. Listen. The word reparations basically the word need. It said it's money or something is owed to somebody for you tragedies in the past. It's basically what I take it as. Okay. And it's not that I don't think anybody does not deserve it. I just want to know where it ends. Where does the bloodline stop? If I have a generation of kids and I have part of it is we're slaves, the other part of it are naturally born Americans here that weren't enslaved, that have nothing to do with slavery, and they have kids together or whatnot in the future and coincides, not my kids, but another set of people, and they're
well,
black.
that's like
So
a
where does the
that's
reparations
a
stop at that point? That's the
that's a
question.
very that's a very legal argument. Like, who do you sell the? I mean, who do you pay, the seller or the buyer? Who gets the reparation?
Right, right,
The
right. This is
seller or the
this is
buyer?
the big thing, and that's why I told E it's better to do preparations versus expect reparations. Because the government's gonna do nothing but give you something that is so disgracefully disrespectful that it's gonna cause so much problems. And that's why I'm not. That's the reason for me. I don't really care about the reparations fight because when they do get their reparations, it's going to be a slap in the face. And it's going to be
What are
sad to
they
see that
gonna
these
do
people
with
fought
it,
for it for
right?
so long and wanted it for so long, and now they get pennies on the dollar. That's the sad part, that's going to end up happening. So that's why I don't like the
Well,
portion of reparations on that. But go
the
ahead.
smart black people already own their own land. They live in suburbia, and they're not hurting for shit.
Hold
Just
up.
like all
It
these
ain't just the
football
average black
players and
person. It's
everything.
the whole
They're
community. The
not
whole
hurting
community
for
is
nothing.
better.
They got talent.
I mean, the black community has been in an uprise as far as economically, physically, establishing land more. So yeah, I mean they're doing good, but it's just
Yeah,
the
they're
narrative.
already doing it. Black
Yeah,
people
they're already
own
making it.
lots of land in the United States. So what the hell are we talking about?
Uh, I
Yeah.
don't know though. I don't know. I don't have no problem with it. Like I said, it's just I want to know when the bloodline ends and then where it goes from there. And and I'm gonna hate to see the disgrace that the United States is actually gonna give the amount what they're gonna give per person. It's gonna be a sad amount. But it's what it is.
So you
I don't
think
want to
there
talk about it.
should be a check?
Wall
You
Street.
think there
Okay,
should
Wall
be a
Street.
check
Is that
to
really you? Can you give
everybody?
me? Hold on, 12. Hold on, 12. Hold on, 12. Hey, Wall Street, can you
Uh,
just cam up for a second? I want to make sure it's you. It's this page. It's on my page. I do believe it's you. Yes, sir. Okay, you cam down again. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, brother. Hola, hola. You there?
Damn, I think my joint
Joe
tweaking. Yo.
Skywalker, what's good
Hold
with
on, let me
you?
try something.
You're good. I hear you, brother. Wall
All
Street.
right, you get me now?
Yes, sir.
Is
Peace
that
and Pan
Blackberry?
Africanism. Peace and Pan Africanism. What's cracking?
9 months. We just cracked the lacking tonight. We are running on the Mexican Einstein show, re-streaming on the Gospel of Bob. Just a quick shout out to everybody. Like,
I
share,
love
subscribe. Both channels. We're waiting on Sky to get back home so he can, turn the stream on there. If he does, if not, he'll stay here with y'all. But
it.
yeah,
Since I'm
it's a good
rocking
night,
out with
man.
Mexican Einstein, I gotta give you today's mathematics of cipher
Oh
wisdom.
no,
Cipher
that's
wisdom
Gemini
is
again.
today's
Hold on,
mathematics.
12. Hold on,
I
12.
know. My
What'd you
bad,
say?
Gemini.
I was giving you today's mathematics, which is cipher wisdom, and what that means to me when you are in the right circles and can create a full pattern, you can get the wisdom, which will provide you what you need to move forward. Salute to the mathematics.
My boy, coming up loud and proud. I like that. I like that. How was your day, brother? How was your day?
Man, everything cool, man. I don't
Hey,
even know if I gotta work tomorrow or not, which is
it's
crazy.
Friday, man.
Well,
Of
you
course you gotta
better
go.
figure it out.
A lot of people get Good Friday. Somebody said something in a chat, and I was like, wait, so do we have to work or not?
We don't know yet, evidently. So
I wasn't working
Oh,
too
that's
hard
Wall
anyway,
Street
so
Lily. Shit.
what's going on, OG?
What's up, Wall Street Willie? What's happening today?
Not
Sound
much,
like a
man. Just
siren went by your house.
I'm just watching the world turn, man, trying to keep up. A lot going on in the news, a lot going on in the world. So
Yeah.
when I was a follower of the word, my pastor used to always tell me, watch as well as pray. Like you can pray. Make sure you watching too.
you gotta watch, man. You gotta watch. You gotta keep one eye open and one guy to God. I guess that's what that means, right?
Yeah, man, pretty much.
Well, from an OG to another, all you gotta do is love one another. And says it right there in the Bible. You're all good, right?
Well, that seems to be the hardest task for mankind. Everything else is easy. Loving each other is the hard part.
Yeah, seems to be. A lot of
Oh,
men can't. A lot of men can't get past their egos to love one another. That's the problem. There's no brotherhood anymore or anything like that. Like the left has scraped all that shit away, right?
Well, greed is the enemy of unity. And I think that's what it is in most cases. Even sometimes in conversations, we get intellectually greedy. We just want to win the conversation instead of,
Right.
oh, that's
No,
me. I ain't
that's
gonna lie.
true.
I hate losing an
I see
argument.
it all.
I hate losing an argument so bad. I have to be the right one. I will finally admit it out here in the world. I like to have the last word. I swear. And finally, I got a place where I can do it sometimes. No. Just kidding. I want to have fun, man. This is crazy. It's Thursday. April Fool's was yesterday. We have 10 more days to, nah, yeah, 2 more Sundays, and I'm gonna get up here. I'm gonna be lit, y'all. I swear, I'm going to be stupid,
You know
stupid,
what
stupid.
that is? That's pride. Because a lot
What?
of
Oh no.
even women let pride get in their way, so they can't admit when they're wrong or anything like that.
Oh, you talking about the real pride? I thought you was talking about the pride parade. I was like, wait a minute.
Nah, I roll like that.
I'm like, oh, he's talking about the real pride. Whew, okay, okay.
Yeah, let's not talk about the real
Yeah,
pride,
that
man.
kind of pride.
It takes too much of the outfit of it, and numbers, and letters, and emojis and all. They're taking too much. They're taking over. I
They're
thought Mexicans were bad.
they're
Mexicans,
very
they
dominant
multiply like
people.
rabbits.
They're very
But
dominant people. Like they took the rainbow from us. I can't even use the rainbow. Like you're instantly on their side. They stole the rainbow, man. I'm still upset about that.
yeah, even the Rainbow Care Bear, man, they took that one too. I was so mad about that when they took that one. The Rainbow Care Bear out of all the Care Bears, that was the best one. But the happiest one of all the Care Bears. If you know
I
what a
used to
Care
see
Bear is.
I used to see a rainbow. It used to be like, man, like I ain't that gangster. Like I could look at that and say that's beautiful than a mother. I know my
Now you
baby
can't.
mama. I know my baby mama on the other end of that rainbow with her gold digging ass. She where the pot of gold is, but the rainbow is beautiful.
Now if she's digging for it, because if she's still there looking for it, evidently it's not there. That's what I want
Man, either way they took the rainbow, man.
to know.
They took the whole rainbow, man. Got
That was
grown men
sad,
out here
man.
even scared to say a rainbow is nice. Got grown men scared to even look at a rainbow. They took it.
Oh, so sad, bro. So sad. And then they're doubling up letters too sometimes.
It
So,
only bothers me in one area and one area only, right? Because, like, even with the bathrooms thing, right? That been a law in New York City, like, before it even became like a national conversation. We had that in place for about 4 or 5 years, right? It was no uptick in things happening to little girls and nothing like that. Like, people just I don't even see them people on a daily basis. So I'm not really worried about them going to the bathroom with my daughter.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
hey,
But what
I
but but
bet, I
but
bet
wait.
Queen A would have
But
something to say about it
but wait, the
if
only
a
thing that
man walks
bothers
up
me,
in her
the only
bathroom.
thing that bothers me is when it gets in schools, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a sexual choice, and I think parents should be able to decide when their kids are introduced to sexual things. You know what I mean?
that's not. Well, that's kind of a bias. I can't agree with that, Wall Street, because this is why. Because as kids, our parents didn't teach us about those things. It was school people who taught us about those things. We were in school, we had sex ed. They taught us those things. Nowadays, it's the internet. And the internet's available to younger kids than we're learning sex ed in school. So it's a total different world about that. The parents don't teach. You don't go show your son how to
And
do
that's
the
where I
job.
disagree. That's where, like, there's certain things that I should have the advantage of being my child's teacher rather than the school introducing something that I don't want my kid to know about. You know what I mean?
But
My kid come to school for reading, writing, and arithmetics, right? Like,
which is 100% true. But now you talking to them about it and showing them is a different thing. You know, in school they show all the acts, they show the shit, but they used to back in the day.
so now
They
watch,
show,
right? So now watch. This is my honest answer to that, right? And me and my kids, we've had the conversations, right? But how I feel about it,
Right.
my kids don't even like most kids don't even need to necessarily have certain conversations because they're already formulating those things. For one, they're
That's what
introduced
I'm
to it
saying.
through the media all the time. Like it's out there
Yep.
all the time. They know who's who, what's what. So they're making their own decisions off how they're raised. You know what I mean? It ain't no
Right.
one conversation that's going to decide how they feel. Like,
Right.
you know?
But that's sort of what I'm saying though. There with that is that really when it comes down to it, we aren't literally physically going out and showing our kids. Like I didn't go show my boys how to have sex. That's something they had to find themselves. I told them and talked to them about it. Told them I didn't want no kids. I'd rather them wait till they're out of school. Those kind of things. But I never went and told them the process of doing that shit. It's just, it's not something we teach our kids. It's something they learn on themselves.
I
It's
told
going to
my
be something that's
son
a natural
I,
process.
I told my
Yeah.
son how to put on a condom. You know what I mean? Like I
Right,
had a little, something I could slip the joint on, and I just showed him. You hold the
right,
tip, boom, you pull it back,
yeah,
right? Like I
yeah.
did that with him, but other than that,
But that's what I'm saying. Other
yeah.
than that, they don't know. When they go in that position, in that situation, for the first time, it totally scares for some of them kids. And it's not stuff they need. It's stuff that we as adults have to teach them the rights and wrongs of when
Well,
and
as
how.
crazy as this sounds, no, in our generation, the truth is, from studies, like this generation appears to be having more sex than we are. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Word.
yeah. And it's starting younger too. And that's what the
Mhm.
sad part is. And a lot of it has to do with social media. Let's take Roblox. Roblox is one of them as well. That's very dangerous out there for these kids, but they're on it. You have these faces. I don't even think a child under the age of 16 should have a 15 should have a Facebook. I really don't think they should.
Now,
Honestly, it's too detrimental for a child's brain at that age. The stuff they can see on there, even in the child's portion. So I think social media should be done differently for children under a certain age, not be allowed to be streaming and doing things they're doing now because it's too bad, way too bad.
I mean, so my son, he's 13 now. He's got an Instagram, but he plays all kind of sports. You know what I mean? And that's kind of standard now. Like he's got to have a sports page where we put the clippings together and post them on his page, and different coaches can see how he plays and invite him to tournaments. So it's kind of crazy because for the sports side of things, it's kind of standard. But
Right,
in reality now, most of our kids got phones, so they're gonna have the page anyway. You get what I'm saying?
exactly. And even if we ain't showing them, the friends are showing them, bro. And that's the thing. Remember back in the day, you used to take a little nudie book to school and be like, "Yeah, look at this,
I
yeah,
I always
yeah,
make that point, right? Like my mother could find my Raekwon purple tape, right, and break it. There's nothing else I could do. Now I can't hit. You remember the purple tape, right? So, but now all these kids got it in their pocket, and so I could put
exactly,
all the parental settings on my kids. It only take one kid in that class to not have those settings on. Now all the boys in the class is on bootybuttnaked.com. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, so,
exactly." So,
and
like I
so
said,
that
now
is the
today's world and age,
technology.
it's so prevalent.
The technology is the difference. Cause don't get me wrong, somebody from the crew will come to the school with the butt naked magazine, and we'll look at it in the boys' bathroom, and everybody try to trade it or buy it. We had the booty
Yeah.
butt naked magazine, but they got red tube, Q porn. Like it's
It's,
different.
it's,
You know what I mean?
it's everything, bro. That's the bad part about it. And a lot of things is the parents can't even block it because these kids are smart enough to get around it these days.
Or just go through the kid that his mom is a super liberal and she doesn't put restrictions on her son's accounts.
I, I, I put it to someone who like is a sneaky person behind the significant other's back. They're gonna have hidden apps. They're gonna have hidden situations. I mean, hell, even iPhone gets a spot on your iPhone photos where it allows you to have hidden photos and hidden apps on there. So children these days are too smart, bro. They're just too smart. And like I said, like Shorty said, there's no way around it. It's gonna happen. We
Yo,
just
listen,
don't teach
man.
them
I
like in
I
person
I learned
on that.
some things from being institutionalized for 89 days, right? Like I do random inspections. I come in like the turtles. I come in like SWAT. Boof. Where's your phone? Hand me your phone. Unlock it. You know what I mean? Let me look under this. Let me see that. My kids be sick of me, yo.
I didn't have that with my kids. I didn't do that with them. When I got them the phone, I had a different aspect of raising my kids than most. When I raised my kids, I was always like talking like they were full grown adults. People would look at me and be like, "Why are you talking to your kid like that?" I'd be like, "If I don't talk to them like that, you or somebody else on the street will one day, and they're not gonna know how to handle it." So like my kids would talk to me like a grown adult at like 8, 9, 10 years old,
Yo,
and
you
we
wanna
carry on a
know
conversation.
you wanna know how
Good.
crazy the game is, right? Like my oldest is 20. I remember he must have been about 15, right? So he had an iPhone at the time. So, my oldest, he's a good kid. You know what I mean? It's the middle kid that I'm worried about. He's the head case, right? But so my oldest, I get the call, you gotta come into school, something's going on. So he get home, what's good? He like, yo, look, dad, I didn't have nothing to do with nothing. You know what I mean? But the little dudes got the girl in the bathroom and they doing what little boys unfortunately do in them situations. They tape it. They airdrop it. So they send it to a bunch of different recipients, right? All the little homies, he airdrop it to show him in the bathroom with the little girl. And now they coming for everybody on the list once they find out about it. You know what I mean? And he got airdropped. So it gets crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
like I
know?
said, they are too smart for us nowadays, bro. Some of these kids are just way too smart.
They've
But
got a new world to navigate. And so like when me and my son went, like, they were pressing him kind of like, well, you can get in trouble. Whole time I'm sitting there like, nah, my son ain't in trouble for this shit. He received something everyone else received and he responded to it and admitted it immediately. But I'm seeing how it play out. They trying to press him to like just give them information. And then I finally stepped in like, yo, look, man, he's one of the boys. You know what I mean? He got the airdrop. Like, that's it. He don't know what's going on, and I don't want him to know what's going on. Right now, as a parent, I'm stepping in. If he don't even know about XYZ, I don't even want him. You get what I'm saying? Talking about it normal. So let's wrap this up.
no, I
Anytime it can
look
be
at it
like that.
different though for me, bro, because it taught my kids a lot of difference, even down to the part like smoking. Like I
Hmm.
would talk to them about smoking, even to the point that we had like in the past, in my past situation with child services, because my wife was had our kids and she had marijuana in her system, so we got involved with child services, things like that. Even down to the point when they started growing up, they knew the difference. Even I told the child services guy that came out one time to inspect everything, and which we passed, and then they left us alone. But I was like, dude, my kids, I tell them that when I'm smoking a cigar, they gotta stay away. When I'm smoking a cigarette, they're more than welcome to come over. And I taught my kids the difference of it at a very young age because my brother had a very bad experience with that with his kid in school. So I looked at it different. And I wanted to teach my kids the things not to do or not to say. So teaching about the illegal things, teaching about the things has turned these kids out to be way better, knowing that they had an outlet to come to, speak to certain ways, and talk about certain things that they weren't able to do with anybody else. So
Now,
even down
now,
like I said to the smoking, I told them that I didn't want them smoking until they were 18,
but
at
look
least.
though. So look, peep the brand new world, right? Because of course,
Right?
I tell my son the exact same thing, right? Like once you get, I didn't even put it at 18. Once you have your high school diploma, all right, you can start to, because I can't hold you to it. Like I've always been honest with him, so I've been
Yeah,
smoking since the cradle. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I rolled the blunt when I graduated from preschool, right in front of the preschool. So I got to be honest with him, and so yeah, my thing was, yo, just chill. Once you get to a certain point, you'll be able to pick what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like it's no rush to get to it. And my son was
exactly.
good with doing that, but he dabbled. But because he knew I had been honest with him, so it's like, how can you judge me? And he worked at being like the good kid. So it's like, even when shit do come up, it's like, with dad, I mean, you doing XYZ, I'm a straight A student and I never been suspended type shit. You know what I mean? So when he did, I would randomly ask him some shit and he wouldn't lie to me. Yeah, I've smoked already and blah 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 word. And so we talk about stuff. But here's the point. It's so crazy now that the kid will be in the back of the class holding up a whole THC gummy trying to answer the algebra question. Like, oh yeah, that's a tangent C squared. And all his homies are looking at the gummy in his hand because they got one in their pocket, right? They all know he got the bud gummy up in class. You know what I mean? So I'm just pointing out like the world is just, we can't parent the way our parents parented. We gotta,
No.
have a different approach, man. We can
Well,
take from it what work, but we gotta have a different approach.
here's what I tell people. When I give this advice to one of my friends, one of my very, very good friends here. Recently, he had a kid a couple years ago, and through the whole pregnancy portion, he was getting all this information from everybody. And the only information I could give somebody when they're in that situation is don't listen to nobody, bro. When it comes down to your kid, nobody can teach your kid any better than you. And there is no manual that anybody has set to be able to give you their way of doing things. The only thing people can give you is experiences. You can learn from them, but I never tell anybody they should do this or do that with their kids. This is a learning experience of their own. So the way you do it, the way I did it, definitely a different breed of people. We tell our kids right from wrong from the get go, and
Yeah.
that's what needs to be taught nowadays. It doesn't get taught nowadays, which is really sad. You
And
know.
one thing I was really, really comfortable doing with my son that a lot of people aren't, being honest, right? Like I think my son learned more from my failures, right? than everything else I tried to push on him. Like, he's doing well, he's in college now, he should be graduating next year. Fingers crossed. You know what I mean? But I've always been honest with him. So like even
Yeah,
like on the road, he don't have a road rage bone in his body. Why? Because he's seen his daddy jump out the car and act crazy, and the police come and nah, I'm not doing all that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He
yeah.
just, you know,
And we learn from our parents' experiences. Our kids learn from our experiences, and I think that's what changes. I think me and you live in an age era that we seen a lot of things that were bad in our parents that we had to change for our kids, and we changed that way of thinking for us, and it's made our kids great. Like my kids, my twins, well, they are great. They have both graduated high school. They both got great jobs. I mean, both got good credit scores, and it was all because I taught them you got to be honest with me, and we got to have a good rapport because I can't help you if you're not.
that's the
And
important
that
part.
changed it completely with them. So
Yeah, that's the important part.
yeah,
Like them being able to talk to you, because that's the one thing I wasn't really able to do with my mother. Like when we have
yeah,
conversations now and talk about stuff, right? Because as I was raising my son, I knew how much I got away with when it came to my mother. And I'm thinking, yo, if I had the internet, if the internet would have ruined me as a kid.
Oh yeah,
You know
most
what I
definitely.
mean? Like that time I got knocked out, you know what I mean, on 7th Avenue, that would have went viral, and then I would have give me the gun. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids now have to deal with things. I could get knocked out, go home, people know about the story. But it's different when your whole school sees it, the whole
Yeah,
neighborhood sees it. It's
and
gone
everybody's watching it
viral.
the next day while you're walking by. You're like, shit.
You're you're
Totally different.
re you're watching this on your little 16-year-old timeline, and grown men 40, 30 years old are making jokes about how you got knocked out and this, that, and the third. I probably, because I was never tough. I was stupid. You know what I mean? Like I would throw it all away. Right? So, like me, if I would have gotten to those situations, yeah, I know how my temper was because I was trying to prove things. And anybody to tell you, they navigated a certain space in life, never got beat up, never lost, never, they lying. You
And
know what I
listen, I
mean?
take a loss just like I take a win. I enjoy them both because I learn experience what not to do next time. Either not to run my mouth or
Right.
not get in that situation to begin with.
Right.
So I've never been one to take a loss like really deep and mad. I get over that shit quick. Like I talked about me and my brothers fighting. Like we get down, bro. I mean, we get nasty. Week later, hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? Let's smoke one. It all over. But it's just, I don't know. It's just our era was different, Wild Street. Our era was different. I was born in the '80s, so I don't know what era you were born in, but like the late
I'm an 80s
'70s,
baby.
'80 babies, all the way to the maybe early '90s, rocked all the same. After that, I don't know what happened, bro. I really don't know what happened. I think I
Now,
should just blame it on the internet. Yeah,
people at Einstein know when it comes to politics and stuff like that, right? Like coming from what we came from, because like in Harlem in New York, like there was portions of the city that looked like a war zone. Like I used to collect crack vials. We didn't know as kids, but they was different colors, and we knew people made money with it, and we started it's crazy. You know what I mean? The world we live in now that our kids are growing up in, the slums really isn't the neighborhoods. It's the internet.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like with this whole drill thing, it's all about drop your location, where you at, and then go have a shootout. You know what I mean? With the
yeah.
whole white side of it, of mass shootings, it's the fact that if you do this, you're going viral. So you're gonna be on ABC News and everything for months. So yeah, the real slums is the internet.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's where the
Word.
ghetto is. That's where the ghetto is for sure. Hey, you know what I saw the other day, Wall Street, that brought a great smile to my face? I was in the neighborhood. We were doing lines in the neighborhood, doing some aerial work, and I had to walk around and knock on all these doors. And
T
as
in
I
the
was walking
building.
around
Hey
this
T.
section, bro,
My bad. I
I
didn't mean to cut you off. Hey T. T in the building. Shout out to her.
yeah,
You
T,
get
come
head
on up. You
listening.
come up. Come on up here, girl. Shout out to Epoxy. Shout out to T. Shout out to Marble Gaming. Marble
Epoxy
Fox Gaming.
magic.
Everybody's in here enjoying the night. I appreciate y'all coming in and viewing. Like, share, and subscribe. You guys can join the panel. If I need to drop the link, I'll drop it. But back to the story. I walking around the corner, right? And I seen 4 bicycles in the yard, bro. 4 bicycles laid out in the yard. Like, I ain't never seen that in a long time. Like, kids actually riding on a bike, going to mix with their friends, and the bikes are in the front yard. Bro, that was like, I tripped out with that, bro. I was like really excited about a great smile on my face because you don't see that much anymore. All these kids are on their phone or their tablets and shit. These kids were outside playing and enjoying. I was shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah.
So but it was pretty. I remember doing that. We used to go. Hey, we didn't have no phone, no internet, no beepers, nothing. We left school knowing We had to be at so and so's house at a certain time, and that's where everybody met up. And at the
But
time,
but
we were riding anywhere from like
but
5 to
now
10
think
bikes
about this
deep.
though. Think about this though, right? Like how beneficial was that, right? Because like me and you, we was outside all the time. We was riding our bikes. We was meeting up in front of a store and going to do whatever we did, right? My
Yeah,
son, I couldn't get him out the house, right? It's all on PlayStation and the networks and whatnot. But his best friend is a kid from Detroit, right? They've been online for about 7 years now. Like since they consider themselves internet day ones. And
yeah.
now they literally will link up with each other. Like my son will call me now. Your dad, can you come get me from the airport? Yeah, I'm coming back from Detroit. You in Detroit? What? Like, you know what I mean? But they have the opportunity to create a network much bigger than ours. But as parents, I always, just because Detroit is what it is, I ain't comfortable with that. I'm like, hold up. I don't even move around Detroit. But he's, the kid that he's kind of grown up with. He's working. He's making a little decent living in Detroit. And I say, yeah,
I had
our
a situation.
friends that were local, we had to kind of move on past them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a sort of situation of a feeling like you just did about the Detroit thing. My son went to Chicago. Him and his girlfriend went to Chicago. And I was worried, bro. I was just worried. This is when everything was going on real bad a couple months ago in there. And I was like, you know what? I can't be too worried. He's a grown man and he has to see the world himself. I didn't get that opportunity. But he said off good right now that they're taking him and his girl taking trips here and there and enjoying it. And that's one thing I told him to do. Don't stay in this area. You make sure when you get an opportunity and you have the money and you're capable, you take a trip somewhere and you visit. I don't care where it is. Across the world, across the United States, whatever you think it is, that's what it is. So
And
here
to
we
be
go.
honest, that's kind of how I came into my manhood. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
kind of moving around from state to state on my own, where nobody would save me, and I had to figure it out. If I'm gonna be somewhere. And so to see my son doing that, it is kind of cool. You worry as a parent, but if you did the right thing, at some point you got to let the reins go. Oh, you scared me. What? Shout out to Mrs. Wall Street. Say what's up to the
And
family.
this Wall Street.
What's
And I feel you with that Wall Street because that rain that I had to let go was both a terrifying and a release at the same time.
Boy or girl?
Both boys. I got twin boys and a little girl. They're both over the age. All three over the age 18. But my twin boys,
Oh, the
when I had to
girls.
finally just let go because I know they're adults, it was like I said, it was both a relief, and like very scary.
See,
But
this is where I gotta learn from you, right? Because my son was he's speaking of the terrorists. Hi. Candy. Say hi. Hi. All right, I'll give you the candy when I come in the house. All right. Speaking of the monster, right? So my son, I was more comfortable letting the reins go with him because I kind of raised him to be the best portions of me. One thing I give him, right? Like he filtered out the bad parts of dad. Like he knows where I'm a goofy. The same things that people on the panels of beef with me about. He kind of peeped that and he's like, nah, that I'm not doing. So he's the opposite of me in certain areas, right?
right, right.
But this little girl, man, I'm scared, bro. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna let those reins go. Cause I barely let the
Mhm.
reins go on my son. You know what I mean?
I had a terrible situation with that one. So that one I can't give you any advice. All I can tell you is this. And that my little girl is 18 years old, beautiful. But I miss my little munchkin. I miss my little minion. But when I tell you this little girl would go everywhere I went, bro, no matter what I was doing. The only way she didn't go is if I had to go to work or she had to finally go to school. But until a
Nobody
certain
loves a
time,
man like his daughter. No one.
oh, bro. And to
Not
this
his
day,
mother, not his wife.
she's the only woman in this world that can walk up to me and disrespect me, and I wouldn't raise a hand to, bro. That's the only female on this. Not even my mama can get that right. My daughter can come up and cuss me out for no reason at all, slap me across the face, and I would never, ever even look a different eye at her, bro.
That's
So,
easy to say when you know she would never do that.
yeah. No, I mean, she probably slapped me, but hey, listen, it's like I raised her to be self sufficient in a way. I didn't get to raise her whole life because me and her mom separated, so she ended up with her mom, and I ended up with the boys. But the entire thing was pretty neat. Like I said, raising them, I can't give you no advice, bro. The only thing I can give you is experiences. The only advice I can tell you is don't listen to nobody. That's the only advice I can honestly give you. Don't
well, I
listen to
gotta,
nobody.
well, I gotta listen to somebody because I gotta listen to my
Ho-
wife. You
No,
know what I
hold on.
mean?
Wait a minute. I came in. I was going to be polite and throw this conversation all the way off because Willie always throwing
Oh
conversations
man.
all the way off on my ass. But I was actually going to be polite because y'all was having a legit conversation until Willie said, I got to listen to somebody. Willie, you know that's bullshit. Your ass don't listen to nobody but yourself.
I
And you don't
listen
even
to
listen
my
to yourself
wife,
half the
bro.
damn time.
But that's a different story though, Willie. Is what I'm saying is you and your wife. I cannot tell you. You nobody in this world can give you any good direction or thing to do that'll help you with this. This is an unwritten manual
but
that you have to learn yourself.
but wait. We're not gonna isolate it there, right? Because like I told you, like my son's mom and I, we broke up when he was what, like around 6 years old. So from like 6, 7 on, he lived with me, right? But
Right,
I still had to listen to her and work with her.
right.
Six,
Which, I
seven.
mean, that's the common. That's the thing. Hold on one second.
13.
Hold on one second, everybody. Aldi, 1K, what's up? How you doing?
It's
Fox,
all
Marble
good.
Fox Gamer, welcome to the
Yo,
show.
yeah, thank you for
Stepping up
letting me
here.
on, bro. Yo, Fox, where are you from, bro? I like your fucking accent. Type shit.
I'm from the United States, dude. I'm everywhere.
Hey, who the white boy with the dashiki? Habaragani,
Why do
brother.
why do you talk like to like people that you consider white differently than you talk to like my fellow blacks?
No, you didn't hear me. I said Habaragani. Do you know what Habaragani means?
Of course I do. I'm
All
African.
right. I would have thought because you were wearing, I was taken aback by a Yakubian wearing a dashiki, but I greeted you in the ancient language of peace and love, like Habaragani.
Yeah, peace and love, my brother.
All right, listen.
You're like one of the few. You're one of the few that like really understands how it is. Like we're all fucking children of Africa. At the end of the day, is I got my dashiki from my ancestors. So peace and love, my brother.
Hold on one
I'm
second. Hey,
starting.
real quick, bro. I'm just letting you know that this is my like fourth live stream. So please, please watch the TOS if you can. If not,
Yeah,
you
we're
know
not
what
gonna
I have
try
to
and fuck
do.
you over, bro.
I ain't
Yeah,
saying
no
nothing
problem, bro.
crazy. My
Yeah,
fault.
we're not doing
Uh,
nothing weird, bro. We're hanging
Yeah,
out.
it's,
I'm just saying, bro. All right. So just
100%,
be
big dog. Don't you ain't
we're
gotta
gonna
worry
stay
about
on
me.
point. We're gonna stay on point. But I am actually starting
got
a movement called the FWA, Foundationally White Africans, right? And I think you would be a great brother to work with.
Oh Lord, see this done went into a race debate already. I'm out. I
No,
love
I'm not
y'all.
debating anything, brother. I'm welcoming
Bro,
you.
man,
I
it's like a lot of
believe
these A lot of these
I
brothers,
believe
man,
that
they don't
Africa,
understand.
I believe that Africa was the cradle of civilization, so that would
Yeah.
mean you would have to come from there as well. So I welcome your dashiki. And I'm saying I am starting foundationally white Africans, right? Like white people that tie themselves to the land. And I think we
Well,
could
let
work
me ask
together.
you, Wall Street, where do you think that most of the white Africans come from?
Africa.
No, but what part?
I mean, if I'm talking about white Africans, I can only go back to the cradle of civilization. So we're
It's
talking,
South Africa.
no,
Dude,
no, no,
so how
no.
are you
So,
gonna
so,
hold on? With all
so
due respect though, how are
Wait,
you
wait,
gonna
wait, wait,
start
wait. Slow down,
how
how are
slow
you
how
gonna
down.
did we
start
come on the
something when you don't
topic
even know where
from
the
I
white
talking
Africans
about
come from?
So I understand
sex?
where you were going with the South Africans. I understand that, right? Like that's the only little tiny dot of a portion of Africa that has Europeans that are claiming to be Africans, right? But I'm saying when I say foundationally white Africans, I'm talking all of life came from the Fertile Crescent, right?
Yep,
So
100%.
I'm not making you African now. I'm not saying you tied to me and my black arguments as a black man
Well,
in
black is
America.
a color, it's not a ethnicity.
It's a race.
No, it's not a race. Black is not a race.
The concept
Black.
of race encompasses
Wow,
the
we're not gonna
word
do this.
black, and black is West Africans, people of the diaspora, either through uh, what's it called, the Caribbean or in America, right? That's black.
Bro,
Western Africans.
black is not an ethnicity, it's not a race. You don't write black when you're filing a job
So what are the
application
five
or you're
races?
doing something, you don't write black.
So
You
what are
write
the five
African
races?
American. You're African American.
So what are the five races?
Uh,
Because
sorry,
understand
Wall
on a
Street.
job
Sorry, Wall.
application,
I,
I'm gonna
sorry,
select
Wall Street.
black
I'm gonna do that right there,
slash
and I'm gonna
African
stop it.
American.
I'm gonna stop it. We were having a great conversation. We were doing everything. I'm not gonna get sidetracked on this show, going into race and bullshit
Nah,
like that. I'm gonna
please,
tell you
yo,
right now.
Mexican
I know
Einstein.
better. I know it wasn't you. I know you weren't
No,
saying
no,
anything
no, no,
like that.
no.
But
Mexican Einstein. There
yeah,
is no beef. It hasn't gotten contentious. Right? This is
uh,
actually a really good conversation. Let it happen, and if it goes too far,
okay,
Mexican Einstein, then we both respect. Yeah, turn it
okay.
off. But as for
All right.
right now,
I'll leave you back there. Come on, head back up, bro. I was gonna talk to Willie for a second. I'm not gonna deal with that stuff. I understand it's going in the direction, but I don't want it to go too far into that direction. If we do want to go into that direction, I don't mind switching over to the stream to the Gospel of Bob,
you
and you guys
so
go ahead
so
and
this the
discuss it
thing,
over there.
Mexican Einstein, no lie, right? And salute to you for building your platform. You know I'm gonna be a regular,
Yes,
cause
sir.
I support people I respect. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
So one thing you have to implement is you gotta mix in, right? Because I think we had a great conversation off of being genuine and just talking as fathers, right? But
Yes, sir.
the algorithm doesn't want the progress. The algorithm wants the drama. So you gotta be able to
Yeah,
implement
but
it, you know,
one of the things really that I
add it
really
in
get
and
tired
move
of,
around.
and I understand the drama. I love the drama. I love drama, but drama can be dealt with in other ways besides race.
I get you.
We can be
I
talking
get
about a
you.
million and one things. It's just the topic is so, to me it's so overdrawn that it gets to the point where people start screaming and hollering at each other. And to me, that's chaos. That's too much chaos, even for a show. You know, so there has
Nah,
to
I
be
get
some little bit of control. And one of the things I apologize, like I said, we are streaming off of mine and re-streaming on the Gospel of Bob, and I understand the algorithms do like that. But I gotta argue about drugs. I gotta argue about a hooker walking down the street, whether she's fine or not. It's all about something. The race issue isn't one thing that I want to talk or even consider because it's so boring to me. And who else can understand me? I love black folks. I love Mexicans. I love white folks. I love Asians. But you know what? I hate black folks. I hate white people. I hate Mexicans. I hate Asians. Okay? I don't want to have that kind of a conversation. And we can, if you want to talk about the problem of kids, argue about how to take care of kids, grown kids, that's fine. We can argue about that. The drama comes in that. But every time when it comes to a race issue, a lot of things get very, very, very like broad. There gets too many implements or extras put in, and then it keeps on building further and further, and then it's just a argument the whole time. That's what I don't want to do. And we want to fight about this and that, call
Yeah,
shit to
man.
each other. That's a great way to have fun. But I just don't want to deal with the race issue over here. That's just me, personally. Just saying. I already had
No,
a
I
panel
totally
to
get
two
it.
drop because
Like
of
I
it,
was,
and that's good.
I was dodging making it contentious, right? Even though you know me, I'm a troll the argument too.
Yes, sir.
But I do get your point. But what I'm saying is like there is, and it's something I really believe in, right? And that's why I kind of rocked with the Gospel of Bob because as conservative as Skywalker is, the one thing I will give him is the Gospel of Bob has created a space where it can get contentious, but
Yes.
respectful when it comes to when the conversations get good. Now, granted,
Yeah.
65% of it is going to be pure crash out, and you can't hear what's being said and all of that, right? I get that part too. There's where conversations,
Hold on.
and I didn't feel like homie was gonna crash all the way out with it. I just, wanted to
Well,
know what
I've
time
seen
he was
him.
on. Like,
I've seen him. I've seen him on the panel. I've seen how he acts,
oh,
and
you know how he
yeah.
works. Okay,
And then
okay,
every time he
okay.
comes in, he wears
So
that,
maybe, so
and
maybe you protected me because I don't know him. I get it, but
he
I was,
he's been on the panel a couple times, and it doesn't always turn out too great because a lot of the comments come back to him about his daishiki, and he gets very offended about it, and then he causes
but
stink,
but look
and
how I
that's
do.
one
Look
thing
how I
I don't
do.
want to happen.
Look how I do.
So
Everybody talk about the FBA. I told them I'm starting the FWA,
yeah,
foundationally white Africans, right? Like he wasn't ready for that. He was like a deer in the headlights, like, wait, what? No, I'm not fighting you, my brother. I see your good dashiki and your kufi.
yeah, but he takes it to an extreme sometimes because you talk about it, and then the whole situation instead of taking a compliment about it and saying, "Yeah, man, I appreciate the compliment, man," he just drags it into a whole nother stretch, and
Yeah,
then he
he
brings
goes
people like
on
you
there,
into
but
it, and then
you know
it starts
me.
making a whole mess. That's just my look on it. But
You know me, man. Like I have a respect for the panels where I'm
yeah,
not like when I rock with your channel, I'm not trying to do anything that would get it flagged or anything weird. So if it went left, yeah, I would
yeah.
pull back from that too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just my thing, man. Like I said, I don't mind the gospel bar. Shit, I love cracking up over there and doing. I love the controversy over there. I like the black issue, black white issue over it.
I never
I love it all. Like I said, my brother has done a an awesome setting to put himself in a position where he doesn't see things like everybody else does. He sees everything at once and then makes the comments to everybody all in the same. So he's
as
doing a
he
great
as
hell of
he
a job
peep it
over there, man.
Mexican Einstein see peep it.
Yeah. So yeah,
Because like you how I rock with you, right? I know when you say that, one thing you've always tried to kind of avoid or was just like, this isn't going anywhere was always the race conflict conversation. And I respect that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Even though, I don't agree with you on that, like certain things have to be addressed. But
yes.
as far as the way you move and what you stand on, I respect what you stand on. You
I,
get what I'm
I
saying? So
appreciate that.
I get the point you made.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to have fun, bro. I just want to be able to come over here, cut it, enjoy,
Nah,
and be
that
like,
would have
I don't,
been
I don't have
fun,
to hear
man.
that piece of the
Me and
pie.
White Hakeem would have been fun. I promise I'd have kept it fun.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but like I said, he can get too offended with his clothing and how he wears his stuff. If he wanted to come back up here and you want to keep it, everybody keep it respect the conversation, he more than welcome to show back up
Yo,
here and
come
pop in
back
there.
up, White Prince
Yeah,
Hakeem. Cause look,
yeah,
I'm
but I
driving.
just don't want to argue about it. That's it.
I'm
So
picking up my son from basketball practice. I looked at the phone. I was like, hold up. Does he have a dashiki on?
yeah, yeah, but like I
I
said,
was like,
his
oh no,
offense
I
is his
gotta talk
clothes,
to him.
man. So any man that gets offended about what he wears because somebody said something to it has real issues for me. Just saying. Just saying. Just my thought in my brain. The what you're
Nah, but
wearing.
Mexican Einstein, man, shout out to you. Cause I look, I was like, wait, where's Skywalker? He's not on the panel. I was like, oh, my man, Mexican Einstein doing something. Bet I'm
Yes,
popping
sir.
out. I'm gonna
This
help
past
support him.
Sunday,
Whatever
was
you
it last
need.
Sunday? It was last Sunday I went with my first live.
That's
So,
what's
and
up.
yeah, finally got the 50 subs, and we went from there. So I've been posting a lot of like little shorts on like lives during the daytime off my phone at work. So like I said, it's been great. Like I said, my whole space is just happiness. That's all I want. I don't want nobody to walk out of here pissed off because conversation was bad. I want someone to be able to come here and throw jokes like Marvel. Marvel, bro, if Marvel could come and tell you this story that he told me the other day about the Amtrak train that he was on for like 16 hours and what the hell happened, bro, you wouldn't want to hear about any kind of race shit tonight or anything like that, bro. That story, listen, he went from getting on a train, getting approached by a hooker, then getting approached by cokehead, uh, seeing a fat dude fuck the hooker basically, and he walked out over there to the bathroom, went back to the bar. Dude, like for 16 hours he was on this train, and he had the most amazing story he told for like a good 20 minutes. This story took, bro. That's the type of stuff I want to hear, and that's the things that people need. Happiness, bro. Happiness is my trajectory. That's it. But yeah, I don't mind it. Every now and then I know someone's gonna black out. I know someone's gonna say some shit. But yeah, that's just one subject I really don't want to touch here. This is me personally. Like I said, I'm fixing to see where my brother's at anyways, and see if he's gonna start streaming on his side or whatnot, so everybody can go that way if they need to.
And I'll be
And
real, right? Coming from
yeah,
you, I can respect that because you've never led with like what I consider the low hanging fruit, like race contention. Like you've always been anti that. You've always been like, just let's talk about how we feel about the topic. You know what I mean? I can give you
bro.
that
So listen,
wholeheartedly, know it's genuine. So yeah,
only
if
fucking
someone
thing
else,
difference between me and you, cuz, listen, the only different thing between me and you is your kinky ass curly hair and and our skin color. Everything else is the same. We bleed the same, bro. Our
now
organs
our
are the
views
same.
is a little different too.
But come on, bro. The skin color, the hue, the skin color, whatever you want to call it. You have kinky hair. That's the only thing that makes you different in life. That's the only thing that to me makes you a black person.
Mm.
It ain't the skin color. It's your hair to me. Honestly.
It's
Now
a
I look
it's
at
an
you.
important it's an important clear connection, right? Like you see that here, you know,
Yeah. I
they're
don't have to know
them,
you're
they're
African
us.
or African
Yeah,
American
yeah.
or Aboriginal. I don't have to know that. I just know you're a black person. That's it. And that really hurts me too, because I don't really like look people in color, bro. Color to me is like
See,
I like to see it better. I like
but
to see
this
it
the
better
thing,
around.
Mexican Einstein. This the thing, for real. Like when you factor in both science and politics, right? And
Right.
you know, you take from it what you can really remember and hold on to that you believe is right and exact. You know, the bottom line is we do come from a human family. But at some point, that shit broke up. People became different people. And so
It didn't.
now,
That's the problem. That's where you take the mistake, Wall Street. I'm gonna cut you off right there, and I apologize. That's where you take the mistake. People didn't change. We were forced to change. We were forced to hate each other.
see,
Why?
that's where I give
Hold on, let me cut the
what I
both of y'all off real quick. Y'all ever had a crackhead roommate that ever tried to pull some bullshit, smoke some
oh
weed
snap.
too hard and shit on herself?
I
No,
sort of.
I
I've had
can't say
something
that I
happen sort of
have.
similar to that. Yes,
All
it was
right.
close, but I'll shit on. Never.
Well, listen here.
And
There was this one time, my crackhead roommate. It's a long story. He was working at the restaurant with me. He did some time in prison. Some things happened. He needed somewhere to stay. My
Was he
crackhead
black or
roommate,
white? Out of curiosity.
he was a white dude, but if you didn't know him, you would have swore he was a black guy.
If he was on the phone, I would have thought he was black. I
Yeah,
get what you're
yeah.
saying.
But anyway, some bullshit happened, and one day we were sitting on the porch and we were smoking. Right, we was getting down on some good. All right, this was the type of shit you take 2 hits off of it, and you probably should have stopped, but you didn't because your mama ain't raised no quitter. That's the shit we were smoking on, and it was late at night, real late at night. Now I had a Puerto Rican neighbor that was across the street. All right, and he was an old dude with white hair, but he smoked too. He got down. So the Puerto Rican neighbor went to go walk his dog cat raccoon. I know it's a lot to unpack right there, but I just said. But he went to go walk his dog cat raccoon, and now see here's the part where it gets interesting. Now, my roommate Dirty, we just gonna call him Dirty. My roommate Dirty, uh, decided, hey, I'm gonna go steal old dude's porch swing off his porch real quick. Mind you, I told you he's a crackhead. He says, I'm gonna go steal old boy's porch swing off of his porch while he goes walk his dog cat raccoon.
Yeah, I would have
Okay?
bought that. I get it.
Huh?
I would have bought that off him. Now I get it. I see the play.
I'm
Good.
saying. So so
You
I
know
gotta
me, I'm gonna
explain
be
the dog
honest.
cat
Hold up.
raccoon
You
thing
got a porch swing? How much you want? I give you
for
3.
real. That's that shit he was on. He was on that. You got $50.
I give you 3. 3 for 50.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, you got $50.
I give you 3, yo. Put the joint in the backyard.
Know what that type of motherfucker he was, because I told you he was a crackhead. He said, I got a porch swing. Somebody said, I got $50. He was like, you got $50. So I got to explain this dog cat raccoon situation to you, but that's a long story for a different time. What I do have to explain to you is that my roommate, for being a crackhead, was extremely fat. All right, like, do you ever see that one dude whose like belly hangs out the bottom of his shirt and his pants is like falling off his ass? You ever see that dude?
Yep.
That was
I
him.
think every trap has one. I'm with you.
Okay, so Willie G go to walk off with his dog cat raccoon, and Dirty is like, I'm gonna go take his porch swing. So Willie G gets to the stop sign way down in the road, and Dirty waits for it. Okay, so he jumps up off of my porch and like does this Beverly Hills Ninja Cop roll into old boy's yard, right? And it's
Now
crazy.
I understand
Other
the setup
homeboy,
because I see all the characters. Now I get the setup. I'm totally with you. All right, so
yeah.
Willie
Now,
D pulled off.
yes, and then me and my other homeboy is sitting on the porch watching it, right? And we done hit that shit that killed Elvis. So we on the moon watching it happen. We sitting on the porch, not saying a word. Okay, Willie G out there walking his dog cat raccoon, and Dirty got his fat ass up and did this Beverly Hills ninja roll into Willie's yard. And now his big ass is trying to hide behind a tree that ain't no bigger than a light pole, and he's about 17 of them bitches wide. So I don't know why he trying to hide. We over here doing this shit. All right, now Willie G done hit the stop sign. He done took a left. He walking his dog cat raccoon. Here come Dirty. Grabbed the damn porch swing. Now his pants is falling off of his ass. All right. And his belly coming out the bottom of his shirt. But he's too short to move the swing by himself. So he puts himself in the middle of the swing, right? He got his arms all the way up like this bullshit in the middle of the swing, but his pants is falling down. So he's walking across the yard looking like an orangutan. Just it's like the funniest thing to see. My boy over here on the porch laughing so hard, ain't no sound coming out his mouth, dog. He just straight turned purple.
Yo, Marble, let me ask you. You conservative, right?
What the hell is that?
Politically, are you conservative or do you not really care? Because I don't take you for a liberal. I'm just asking, are you conservative?
Dude, I'm an American, homie.
All right, but you get the question I'm asking. Do you align more with Nancy Pelosi or uh what's my man name that stroked out from Kentucky?
I align with anyone who has the American people in mind.
All right, so I'm gonna just label you as someone like myself, an independent, right? Are you for legalizing or maintaining this war on drugs we have?
Oh, oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
So you
What
thought I
you
was
mean?
being disingenuous when I was asking you conservative or liberal. I'm saying me and you are probably both fairly independent minded, right? But I believe your ideals may align a bit more with conservatives and I may be a bit more on the liberal side. I was coming to that genuinely, like, not that nothing was wrong with that. So I just wanted to have the conversation from that perspective about
Huh.
legalizing. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, okay, let me allow me to answer that question.
Right.
I am a gamer and an entertainer.
Enough
My
said.
political views have nothing to do with it because I am not a politician.
I got an answer for you though. I got an answer for you on that one because that's an interesting one. I've seen other nations. Let's think Amsterdam, or countries and stuff that do their loss prevention basically with their drugs. They have places where these dope heads can go in a room, get high, do what they want, and sort of be in a safe place. They've kind of monopolized the drug systems over there to be beneficial, so that way they aren't having as near as many deaths and stuff. I think here in the United States, if they were to able to legalize it in certain ways, where you can have businesses open that allow you to come over there and do these type of drugs under certain, strenuous things, and people can see that you're not dying or whatnot, and then send you on your way. Those type of deals I think would be great. The war on drugs sucks.
Yeah.
We spent just as much the war on drugs than anything else. We put more people in prison, more people in jail, good fathers, good mothers, and I don't think it's needed anymore.
So
I think they need to legalize marijuana, use cocaine as a medical product, like they used to back in the
now,
day. Go
now,
ahead.
now, now, Mexican Einstein, understand though, right? Like you are my hippie brother, so I get the perspective you're coming from, right? But you know me as well. So when I make that race argument, right, you gotta understand. I got locked up one time. They get me to the precinct before they take me to central bookings and all of that. The cop is telling the younger cops, like, oh yeah, if it's slow, go in St. Nick Project, start at the top floor, walk down the steps. You gonna catch some young dudes smoking weed. I mean, have one cop downstairs, any runners trying to come out the building, you grab them up, right? Now, I literally got locked up for that, for the same drug that now a lot of white people are online making money from it. I'm talking about the stock market, not even people
Right.
selling the actual bud. Like now, these things are stocks. So when we look at how much they focused on attacking a certain group of people, these are the arguments behind things like reparations. Like it's a
But
social
but
dynamic.
but look
It's
at
not
this.
about
Look at this,
individual racism.
if we did not have the drugs on the street being given out by drug dealers, no matter what color, creed, or whatever, because drug dealers coming in various different colors and creeds. If we didn't have that on the streets, do you think there would be near as much crime over that stuff out on the streets?
I think if so, I get your question and I'm gonna answer it directly. If drugs were legal, there'd be way less crime, right? Instead of doing what I do when I travel from state to state, going to a Walmart parking lot and looking for a little young dude that I know smoke. Yo, you grab me an eighth real quick, right? That I take a risk in doing that
Yeah,
every time I do that because yeah, there are whole 48 hours episodes made of people getting set up. So if it was just a business where I could travel, go buy something, have a receipt, walk out of there, go mind my business, it would actually absolutely be much safer. But the reality is, if we now make that the case, we got to realize what we put certain people through if we're going to reverse our position.
yeah, but what are you putting people through? At this point, who and what are you putting people through? If you have the option to go to the store and buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke it, who's putting you through that?
No, what I'm saying to you is if we now do what would make sense to do, legalize, right? Now we have to look at people. You have people sitting in jail for 30 years for weed. Now
Yeah.
people are buying weed stop. And when you look at those people, they're overwhelmingly black. This
So
is why the argument really never dies because the truth is we've taken the brunt of a lot of the BS.
yeah, but it doesn't make sense, brother, because I can't say that's a true argument because if you look at the populations in jail, a lot of Spanish folks are in there just as much more than blacks in some prisons and jails.
They've had to
So,
deal with it too, but when you look at
but
national
hold on.
records,
So that's why I said it
everybody
can't be.
understands black people are the most
But that's why it can't be
incarcerated
that
per
type of
capita.
race argument, bro. This has to be a situational ship where it coincides for everybody. Everybody's looking at it, trying to individualize this. Why not make it a unified situation and make everybody classified into it and fix the problem,
I'm
not fix
saying,
the people?
so now I'm saying in terms of that, fixing the problem, being unified, I'm all for that. But there always seems to be the same people that were hurt, disenfranchised by these problems we now just want to move past, whether it's slavery, whether it's Jim Crow, whether it's the war on drugs, right? Okay, now we realize we were crazy and we'll move on and make a better world. But black people are typically always the victims
I can't
of
say
these
that's
systems.
true, bro. Because I mean, if you really just sit here and talk about it, then we'll talk about it. I don't think black people are the only people that were detrimental in that situation. You
The
and
argument,
you
the,
have that. We had a whole what 10, 20 years where they were taking Mexicans out of fields and taking them and deporting them, putting them in jail because of the Mexican fever. What was it called?
shout out to
Bob,
Hugo Chavez.
the
Yeah,
marijuana craze that they were having.
I
Okay,
know where you're
that we
going.
were raping their women and we were raping their women. We were doing these things like that. No, brother. History says that we were probably more than you guys. And I hate to say this in that way
Now,
because no, no,
now
no,
wait,
no, no.
now wait, wait,
Right?
wait. Two things. Where that becomes problematic is like historically, right? Way before we get to Hugo Chavez and marijuana, you're dealing with the biggest atrocity to mankind ever in the history of Earth, right?
Was
But
in slavery?
yes, slavery,
Okay,
the
slavery. And who
transatlantic
was all
slave trade to
enslaved?
be
Who
specific.
was all enslaved? Answer that, Evan Wall Street. Who was all enslaved?
They were enslaved Africans.
Who else? That's the problem right there, Wall Street. That's the problem with race right
So,
there, is what you just did right there. You hesitated to even think about any other race but black folk only with the race. That's why
because
I
here's
don't want to talk about this shit here. Because when it
nah,
comes down to
this a
this
good bill.
situation,
This a good bill. This a good bill. So
it's
here's
always that.
but
The
here's
black
why
folk.
I'm telling you that though, right? When it comes to this topic, the transatlantic slave trade, yes, there's one group that deserves to be recognized and repaired through
So why
reparations,
is it
right?
only one group when there was multiple different groups of races being pulled in from multiple regions of the world to the United States to be sold as slaves? Why is it
Because
only the black folk get the attention? You don't talk
remember,
about the Irish people that got
hear what I'm
enslaved.
saying.
There was
Hear me out.
hundreds of
Hear me out.
thousands
Hear
of
me out.
those.
Hear me
You don't
out.
talk about the Chinese that were brought over to be enslaved to work on the railroads that no black man worked on. So why is it only black folks have anything to do with this topic?
Got
This
you.
is why I don't want to
I
talk about
got
it,
you.
Willie, because I get
Now,
pissed
hear
off.
me out.
My
Hear me out before
people,
we shut the
my
topic
people,
down.
hold on. My people should get reparations.
I don't
My people
disagree
should
with
get
that.
more reparations than any black person in this
Now
world.
that's where it goes too far. I don't disagree
No,
there.
because I am Indian. I
Hear
am
what I'm saying.
Indian Apache blood in me. I was slaughtered. I was raped. My
All right.
villages were taken
All
and
right, so check it
destroyed.
out, right?
We
So
don't get reparations
hold on.
for that, brother.
Hold on,
You know
hold on.
what we did? We looked past that and moved on from
Hold
that.
on, Mexican
Why can't
Einstein. Hold
black
on.
folks do that?
Before you give me too much more, because it's a lot to respond to, right? I want
Go
to
ahead.
create a
Sorry.
foundation. I
Yeah.
do agree that your people deserve a level of reparations as well. Now, your people, as the indigenous people to America, and even the Mexican portion that dealt with what they dealt with under Hugo Chavez, well, not the Hugo Chavez part, but the Native American part, that's a harder conversation because there were things that can be pointed to, like the Dawes Act and other things that these white people that you and I both are saying we deserve a form of reparations from. They can make an argument with Native Americans that they paid that. You know what I mean? You can look at
How?
some
How?
of
They
the,
gave them land reservations? So
yeah,
if you want to take that Wall Street right there, if you're going to use any kind of form like that about the Native Americans, they still put us in encampments, bro. Native Americans are basically in encampments in the United
but
States.
but
But, but,
wait.
but,
Hear what I'm
whoa,
saying.
whoa, whoa, whoa. The reason
Hear
why
what I'm
they don't
saying.
cry and complain about it
But
and say anything about reparations
don't
is
crash
because on
out.
their, hold on, Willie, please 1 second. On their lands, they did the right things. They
But
multiplied the money.
but we have to deal with what they did and understand when I break down the history of what they did, I am not condemning these people. I am not speaking about it in a negative way. I'm speaking about it for what it was. So you get the Trail of Tears, you get these different reservations. Now, what the Dawes Act did was broke down these reservations and gave all these people on these reservations individual ownership. Most of these people wanted to sell what they had to move to somewhere more profitable. Because you got to understand, when America gives the Native American this land, they give them the worst, least irrigable, least, you know, farmable, you get what I'm saying, land, right?
I've
So
heard that
now,
story about the black folks too. That they were
no,
given land and they sold it to go live
no,
in the
we
city
didn't
with
get
the
any
city
land.
slickers.
We didn't get any land. We
Yes, sir,
never
there
got
is.
land.
You need to look at the history on that. You need to look at the history. Not everybody got it, but people got it. And when they
Right.
started seeing that these people were selling off the land, because they wanted to go live in the cities and didn't want to farm it, didn't want to money off it, didn't want to profit off it, and wanted to go live in the cities. That's when they started shortening up the programs. That's when they
Wait,
stopped
wait,
defunding
wait,
those
wait,
things.
wait, wait,
People
wait,
don't
wait, wait,
understand
wait,
that.
wait, 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 wait,
Black
wait.
folks got reparations of some
Hold
sort.
on, hear what I'm
Not
saying.
all of them.
Hear what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying. Hear what I'm saying. One, black people never got reparations. No
Bullshit.
form
Go
of
read
it.
the
Hold
history,
on, hold
brother.
on.
Go read
Let me
history.
respond. Let me respond. But now you said something wrong for the Native American, right? It wasn't that the Native American didn't want to stay and cultivate this land and build on this land. They were given desert land. They were given land in Utah, in Nevada, right? These places where they couldn't really grow crops, right? It was a lot of desert land. That's why even if you go to the West Coast till this day, a lot of those Indian towns where they tell the Indian story, they're in these desert regions. So on
And
that level, right, I would say yes, Native Americans have their own fight. But again, when I'm talking about the wrongs of transatlantic slavery, that deals with no one else, primarily,
so
other
mass
than Black Americans.
massacres versus transatlantic slavery is different. So the people, the indigenous Native American people that were here who were murdered, raped, scalped, hung, did everything like this, in the whole time of taking land away from them is is different than the transatlantic slavery where they brought
Correct.
the people over here and then they did that to them. Not
Correct.
only that, but most of your people sold your people into that.
That's not
So
true.
there's
That's
the
not true.
difference. My people didn't sell us Indians into slavery. Some did. There were some of those cruel ones that decided to go to the white man and say, "Hey, this is da da da," but they
I,
did
but
not
wait,
sell mass into
stop right here,
slavery.
Mexican Einstein. Stop right here, because this is important, right? I am not saying that you don't deserve reparations. I don't want to compare the level of reparations you deserve and I deserve, right? That's kind of what you're doing with that argument saying that, well, we went through as much, maybe more. I'm saying, right, we were both wrong. We both
Yes,
have a fight to fight, right? But what I'm saying is, when I talk about slavery, and the unfortunate thing about my people is a lot of people try to attach themselves to our argument. Like when they start talking about Irish slaves, right? The Irish came over here for a reason. There was potato famine. People were starving to death. You know what I mean? Yes, they signed a contract to be indentured servants, right? The slaves
not all.
coming from West Africa, they didn't sign contracts. They were captured.
Now let me give you this as well, Wall Street. The only difference I see from the indigenous Indians of the United States or the Americas and the African Americans who came here and were given things is that the Indians actually made a profit off of it. You talk about they were given desert land. You were talking about this. What's in those desert lands?
But that doesn't make us different.
Hold up. Hold on, brother. Hold on. They were given land and you said they sold it all. They didn't really sell it. They built casinos. They built hotels. They built things that people wanted to come do. They profited off those lands. Until today, they still profit off those lands. Now you say that no black folk was given reparations. I think you honestly need to go look at history and understand what you're mistakenly talking about. Because they were given. There were some given, not everybody. They started the program. They give people the stuff. But what happened in the end is a lot of those folks sold their lands to go live in the cities where they could be more comfortable. People don't look at that part of history. You guys get blinded by everything because we were brought from the over here and this was done to us. Well, these people were way worse done to than you, but yet they end up prevailing over it. The only thing that black folks have really complained about for the last 100 years is reparations. They want to get paid. Willie, stop thinking about. I was telling you earlier. Why are you gonna want to wait for something that's gonna be so disrespectful when they hand it to you that that's what you're fighting for? You do better
Because
preparating
I don't
yourself
believe
and
the
your children
Mohegan
for a
Sun
better
was
future, teaching
disrespectful.
them. more than worrying about the
All right, hear what I'm saying.
reparations,
Hear what I'm
brother.
saying to the conversation. I don't think the Mohegan Sun was disrespectful, right? I don't think it was enough to compensate for what they did, but I don't think it was disrespectful. I don't have no problem with the Native Americans that have made money off of casinos and whatnot. I'm saying when you look at the atrocity that happened to us specifically, right? Because here's the only place where I get frustrated with you, and you're always gonna be my man, right? But it seems like I could literally make a better argument, right, for why y'all deserve more, right? I could make the argument for why y'all deserve more. You're
And
making the argument for why I don't deserve it. You get what I'm
no,
saying?
no,
And
no,
that's
no,
kind
no.
of
That's
the
not the argument I'm
circle.
making.
Not, I get it.
I apologize, but that's not the argument I'm making, Wall Street. The argument I'm making is that you're not in deservance of it. The argument I'm making is that when you do get paid, it's going to be a slap in your face, brother. So why wait to get slapped? I don't understand that. If I'm fighting something for so many long time that people are not going to give it to me, why fight it? Why change my outlook? Why can't I not change my outlook and say I can go around that situation and do better? Wall Street, you've done it. You're a successful black man. Okay? You have a house, you have children, you have everything that qualifies you to be a respectful man. You don't need reparations, brother. That's what I'm trying to say.
I
Go ahead.
mean, respectfully though, bro, like that's crazy for you to tell me if I'm telling you, like, yeah, a lot of our problems
Are the
in the
same.
current state that we're in come from people having a head start. And I'm gonna give you an example, right?
Mhm.
So when I talk about reparations, right, I always talk about a fight that we could win. If any money will come, it will only come in the form of some type of tax break. Because America
Okay.
is never gonna reach in its coffers and cut me a check. Right? I understand that. I
True.
always argue to black people, we should argue an educational, right? Reparations argument, right? We know Plessy versus Ferguson is a documented case, right? We know
Right.
this is when we could use all the arguments that Nick Fuentes and Ann Coulter make about blacks not going to school, this, that, and the third. Well, yeah, when Frederick Douglass has to learn how to read under the threat of death, right?
Yep.
We can understand what the problem was, and we weren't protected as what have now become American citizens. We weren't even human beings while all
Right.
this was going down, right? So now I'm saying, all right, y'all just pay us for education. What I want is any black kid that gets accepted into an HBCU, right? He can get a full ride if he goes to an HBCU. If he goes
I'm
to a
down.
PWI, a predominantly white institution, right? Then he gets like a stipend. He gets a check cut, couple thousand, put that towards, something nice, something chunky, right? Now,
Right.
this is an argument that I think I could even win with white America. White America is always talking about how uneducated we are, how we aren't going into schools and education and all right, I'm telling you why. It's because of the things you did throughout the history of America, going all the way back to the 1700s, right? So that's a fight I think I could win for black people. Education. If
I'm
I
down
get
with
my
that.
college kid in college because of the things that have happened and because we know it's understood, better educated people make more money, right? My kids already started at a disadvantage due to Jim Crow, everything else, right? Just let us fix ourselves. Give them a free ride, right? The problem is when I now hear people telling me I don't deserve that, when I would literally say the Native Americans deserve more. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think you're misunderstanding what I was saying, Wall Street. I don't think you guys deserve a money form. I'm with you on that 100%. And I would be with you on the fight for education for reparations. That would be something that I would definitely be on the fight for because it would better the person. It would better the people. It's nothing that
Not
my thing is
and look, not just the people, right? Like it
right.
would also better the institution. So now every kid that Howard University decides to accept, they get a full ride. So Howard University knows they're gonna get a bag for every black kid they bring in. So they're incentivized to admit more black kids, right? And then you look at the fact that most black doctors, most black engineers come from HBCUs. It makes sense.
What about Nigeria?
What about them? I'm talking about
How
America.
many of those high educated workers are coming from overseas? It's I'm not arguing. I'm making a point in
In
addition to
terms
yours.
of the HBCU argument,
No, not well. You just said engineers. It's like most people coming from Nigeria or Senegal. They're not working retail.
but wait, I'm talking about the
I,
HBCU
I
argument. The HBCU argument is that the majority, right? Something like 81% of doctors and engineers. I know like doctors is like 81%, engineers is higher, maybe 83, 85. Got their undergrad from an HBCU. That's the argument.
You're saying 81% of black medical doctors got their undergraduate from an HBC?
Yes.
I would like to. I'm not saying you're lying, but I'd like to see
Nah,
that.
it's a fact. Now, I'm not gonna be disingenuous with the argument. Here's the other side of it. They all got their doctorate from a PWI. Not all,
No, I think
but
Bethune Cookman has a med school or FAMU, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's
right.
HBC medical
But the
schools.
majority, right, leave Howard, they leave Morehouse, and they
Grambling,
go to
North Carolina
Grambling,
A&T.
right. And they leave there with their doctorate, and then they go to uh NC Chapel Hill. They go to what's it, the Research Triangle? They go to Duke. They go to those schools for their doctorate. So I'm not, you know, not well versed on the topic.
I'd
Something
be
I looked
curious if
into.
when you say a doctorate, are you talking about an MD or just a PhD?
Correct. I'm talking about MD, PhD, MBA.
Because
Uh,
a lot of our MDs are going out of the country. I'm not saying you're wrong. They probably did go to an HBC, but a lot of our MD students are studying in Poland or Dominica or
wait, when you say our, you mean black?
no American, like the gross, the aggregate,
Oh
both.
yeah, but wait, I'm talking about black people, right? What I'm telling you is the overwhelming majority of black doctors, something like 80+%, right, have their undergrad from an HBCU. So we know this is a program that produces the
Hey,
people we
Walter.
want to see.
Give me 1 second. Elham, what we were talking about is me and him got a discussion about the reparations and how reparations are owed. And we got talking about the Native Americans and stuff that happened to them. We also talked about how the Africans were brought over here and the things were done to them. My point was to him was that reparations in most forms are asked for as a money cash item. And in the term, by the time they do receive reparations, they're going to have a slap in the face amount. Then Wall
Is
Street
ink
started talking about the educational portion of reparations, and that's where we ended up with the HBCs and all that
wait, but let
about
me ask you,
black folks going in.
Is ink 1776, is he black?
I don't know.
Because I want to answer the question from the chat. Ink 1776. When you said, do you get reparations too? The question is, are you tied to the transatlantic slave trade? Because this is the reality, right? If black people even do get reparations, this is what makes FBA so unbelievably goofy, right? If they tell us we have to tie our lineage back to even civil rights, right? You know how hard that's going to be for most black people to do? I'm fortunately able to do that because I'm a card carrying member of the Boule. Like I got a family of Boule folk, like doctors, attorneys, you know what I mean? We've kept rigorous records. I even got at a what's it called, family reunion. They tied us all the way back to a bill of sale, Baltimore, Maryland. Pretty cool, right? But if, let's say, some legislation is passed for reparations, in order for us to qualify for it individually, they may put a year on it, like 1862, something crazy like that.
But that's the problem there after that. And see, that's another issue I have with that as far as the reparations portion. Because 1862, then you go off from there. You have family. Those families spread out because we know, unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, a lot of black folks like white girls. So they have kids with them. So how far do reparations end up going is my final question with the reparations story.
So
Because
that
if
would
you
be the
have
thing,
kids,
right? If they put a finite detail on it, if you can tie yourself back to slavery or sharecropping, 18, when did the Civil War end? 1860 something, right? Like then or beyond, if you can tie yourself to sharecropping or slavery, right? Then okay, I'm good. But how many people don't even know they daddy? You get what I'm
but
saying?
hold up. So then you're talking about more of a situation where the Native Americans have it here. If you're a certain percentage of Native American, then you can get inducted into like let's say the Seminoles, because they run casinos and stuff. They also give out checks to their people as far as what the reparations are if you're a certain percentage of it. See, these are the things that I'm talking about that are different between the Indians, Native Americans, and the black folks
But
are
that's
the
not what I'm
differences.
talking about when it comes to black reparations. Like, look,
But
this how they gonna deal with us 9 times out of 10 if God willing it was ever to pass, right? The way they're gonna deal with leaving people out, right? If you've been claiming African American on job applications, or if you've been black, right, in the world and can document it for a certain amount of years, bet we'll cut you a portion. But it's probably going to be tiers to it, right? Because if I can show my family going back to the 1700s and show these atrocities, if I'm one of the few black families that can literally tie ourselves all the way back to the inventory, right? The argument would be made that I could make an argument for more, right? So
Would you have any restraints on what, if there were reparations to be divvied out? Would there be any regulations on what it could be used for? Would it be a standing trust for secondary education, for infant health care? How would you like to see reparations play out?
So I
that's
have
what we were going
two.
into.
I have two that I stand on 100%.
If
Right.
I think giving money to people because their great great grandparents got it is
Well,
that's
here's the
fucking
thing. Hold on. Let me cook. Right. Because there's two. Right. That I think we deserve more than the two that I'm 100% 10 toes down on. Right. But the one I've already discussed, education. Right. I think with the documented history through Plessy versus Ferguson and even other legislation and even the testimonies of people like Frederick Douglass, right? We know if we learn how to read, we get hung, right? Now, we can tie education level to income in America and make a very clear case while we're in the position we're in. So I'm for free rides, right? And if you decide to go to a PWI, if you want to go to Utah University and be out there when Charlie Kirk is speaking, you still get a bag. You know what I mean? You get a check if you've been African American for a certain amount of years,
should you have to
right?
qualify to get into the college or you just get in?
Well,
Good question.
the
Good
the
question.
defining well, no, it's not a good question because
It's
the
a great question.
defining no, I'm
Not
gonna tell
No,
you
everybody's meant
why
to go
it's
to
not.
college.
actually, it is a good question because
I'm gonna tell you
does
why it's not.
education, hold up, does education have to play into this child's
So here's the
performance,
thing, right?
or does he just get a complete free ride?
The defining thing is gonna be getting accepted, right? Because you're only getting this educational money for higher education, right? It would be dope for us to do something at a lower level for our children, right? With charter schools, private schools, whatever. But
So
I'm
this is in
saying
good faith. I'm not even. I have a serious question. If you had a buddy with like a 94 IQ, and he said, "Should I go to college for microbiology or should I go to college for HVAC?" What would you recommend him to do?
it would depend on how far. I thought he could go in the microbiology
Limited,
industry. And
limited academic capabilities.
so if he has connections in the HVAC world, I'd probably tell him go HVAC. He could probably simply make more money,
So
right?
you would
I
those
believe
reparations could be lent to trade schools, not just universities for higher learning.
so. Yes, but when I look at a way to legitimize funding this program, I'm going to start with the HBCUs. Why? Because if they accept these black kids, so to your first question, yeah, you got to get accepted first. Ain't no money in it if you don't get accepted to Howard,
Yo, can
right?
y'all see this? A
Hold
fucking
on.
truck jackknifed in the highway.
But wait, let
Holy
me
crap!
finish. Let me finish wait, what happened?
This motherfucker's trying to back into me. That guy's
A
trying to back
semi
into me.
in the highway.
Where at?
Holy shit, y'all, that was wild.
Oh, damn, dog.
Where at?
I'm in the Carolinas. It's a white. Of course, it's a white guy driving.
Jackknife
Unacceptable.
where though?
He made a fucking K turn to get in there. He jackknifed.
North Carolina or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
Damn. All right, let me guess
Sorry,
even
I didn't mean to
further.
hijack. I just thought that was interesting to see.
So
Well,
let me ask you this, Willie. Since you said it has to do with education, and we have all agreed that it has to do with being able to get accepted into this school. So what happens to a child who isn't able to get accepted into the school and is expecting to receive those reparations for education?
great
This is
question.
where the stipulations start getting very sticky and far fetched.
Great
So we
question.
gotta
So
understand.
so
Go ahead.
that's the other part, right? Like the check. When most people talk about reparations, they're talking about the check. But I know good white folk, not even the bad ones, good white folk, enough to know ain't nobody cutting you a check. But I think a political argument could be made. My bad. I think a political argument could be made around taxes, right? Yo, give us, right? So you never have to hear this argument again. Give us 100 tax-free years, right? 2 or 3 generations, tax-free, right? That's literally, if you making 35,000, we talking what, damn near 12, maybe even 16, right? Like, depending on how you set up. And my salary, oh, I could change the world, right? I would argue for a tax break, a complete federal tax break. I'm not trying to change the system, right? So I go into um Walmart. I pay my state and my federal tax, right?
It
Now,
depends what state you live in, but yeah, I mean Florida, Arizona.
huh?
Certain states don't have a state. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just for the
No, 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 no,
education.
no. So I factor that in. So that portion you wouldn't get back. And the argument would be you didn't get hit by it. They didn't have state tax, right? So I'm with you. But I'm saying for Alabama, for Mississippi, right? Not only do those people that are still there get the federal money back, but now the state tax, yeah, they get that back as well. That would go a long way, right? So my thing is always about arguing an argument. I think I could win. I think I could sell America on, listen, you tired of hearing
Okay,
this argument? Fine. Just let black people pay themselves back, right? You got Ghana asking for reparations. So it ain't like this conversation ain't going nowhere. And it ain't like America isn't gonna always be in the crosshairs of this argument,
but
right?
Willie, hold on. With your hypothetical situation, there's
Right.
a flaw to it. Okay,
What's that?
you being a black man that makes $200,000 a year, and there being a young kid on the streets or whatever that or a younger guy who's making only $25,000 a year, how come you get more in reparations than he does in your tax cuts?
Because I've attained more. But I don't think that we, right, when I talk about a black man like myself and a black man making 35,000, right?
I think any
We
black over
hold on, hear me out,
140K
hear me
should
out, hear
be
me out, hear me out, hear
no
me out,
reparations for you.
hear me out. Hold on. I'm
No, you're too
saying,
rich.
nah, chill. Because we all gotta get it. Because me, I'm actually better positioned to pour more of mine back in the community, right? So
So trickle down economics. Now you're born.
I'm not even dealing with that, right?
But hold up, flip the switch. Flip the switch. You
Because
be the
wait,
thirty
let
thousand.
me respond to
Hold on,
what
you
you
be
just
the thirty
asked, because
thousand
you
dollar
asked a
man a
good
year,
question.
and let the other person be $100,000 man a year. Do you feel like it's okay that he gets more money than you do on those reparations?
Yes, because here's the reality, right? And this is what I'm telling you. If I am a McDonald's drive-through worker making 35, if I get that $8,000 a year back, just that little funky 8,000, do you know what black men are willing to do for a white woman's income tax check? Listen to what I'm telling you, right? Like, even at lower levels, if those people were able to not have the burden of U.S. federal taxes and in certain states, the state tax as well, because the state argument can be made that every state wasn't even with, right? So if you're in Philly, you don't get the state tax back, right? But you get the federal, right? Federal tax, if you're making 35, if you're making 55, if you're making 75, right? Like, I don't have an issue with the amount varying between these people, because I know my people well enough to know the dude at the drive through, if he just get that extra 8,000, it might literally change his life. He's
But
not beefing about it.
here's the thing, brother. It might change his life, but it's not gonna change his life like it changed you with the $50,000 income tax refund that
That's
you got back.
irrelevant. We're not worried about
How's
that.
that irrelevant?
I'm gonna
You
tell you.
both get
Hold on, let
reparations.
me
You
explain. Let me
both
explain.
prove, hold up. You both prove that you come from lineage of where you deserve
Yeah, but
reparations.
we're not
So
worried about that.
why is it biased now that you in your reparation tax bracket are able allowed to receive more than the guy working at McDonald's?
So
Why
let
are
me
you
answer that.
favored more in this reparation?
Let me
That's
answer
now going
that.
to cause a whole nother subject.
Let me answer that, right? Like, so as the diplomatic,
That's the most Donald Trump shit I've ever heard in my life, by the way.
chill.
Thank you.
As the diplomatic African American, Pan African representative, right? We all want each one of us to get as much as we can get. We've got nothing, right? I have letters and testimonials from my constituencies from the drive-through at McDonald's that if you give him that extra 7,000, he ain't worried about what I'm getting, right? And if this lasts for enough years, yeah, we could rebuild ourselves.
No,
Not
bro,
about
because
cutting a check.
that's how the rich are going to get richer in that series of community. You're talking about
Serious question, Willie.
you.
What business would you open up in a black community today?
I wouldn't open a
Well, you just
business
said
in a
you put the
black
money. You
community.
just said you put the money back into the community.
Yes, so it wouldn't be through business, right? Like, all right, so everybody knows my dream is to open a MAGA Burgers, right? Because I'm not concerned about the black dollar. I know in order to move my people forward, I have to do what people come into my community and capitalize on doing, taking money out and bringing it back home. So I want to build a MAGA Burgers, right? I want to make MAGA Burgers, Freedom Fries, Patriot milkshakes, right? And bring that white money back to black institutions.
Why
Like,
would you call yourself racist, Willie?
no,
Okay.
no. Now, I would always acknowledge being black first, I'm black first, but I'm not racist. I'm not
I
even
mean,
upset
some of the
at
rhetoric you
whites.
do speak sound it because you are specifically for the black vote. And just like
That
you
doesn't
said,
make you
you want to bring
racist.
that white money back to the black schools.
Correct.
That makes no sense. That's a very racist
So
comment.
wait. That's not racist. That's competitive, right? Racist
No,
is
not when you
hold on.
bring that
Let
white
me land right here. Let
person's
me land right
money.
here that makes sense.
Good.
Racist is trying to prevent you from moving forward. I'm not trying to prevent you from moving forward, right? I'm trying to compete with the Chinese that come into our community and build Chinese restaurants. Well, I'm trying to go to them and sell them lo mein. I'm trying to sell white folk burgers and fries. I'm trying to sell Indians masala and chicken. That is not racist. That's competitive.
And all this food is going to be made by Mexicans, right?
You talking about the staff?
Yeah, I'm being silly, but yes.
Honduras, bro.
Black owned Italian food made
Yo,
by
look,
Hondurans.
listen.
There you go.
I tell people all the time, as long as nobody comes for Consuela, my Mexican housekeeper, I'm good. But I will burn this country to the ground if they play with Consuela, my Mexican housekeeper. I love her. She's a part of the family. Yes, we're gonna hire cheaper labor. Yes, Latin Americans are able to come up of being willing to do that cheaper labor.
So then what do we do in 80 years when we owe Latin Americans reparations for underpaying them for 100 years?
Yeah.
What happens to the blacks in
Black
80
folks,
years?
That's
yeah.
not a reparations worthy argument.
Wow. You're
Underpaying
saying
people, keeping them
that's
okay.
slavery.
It's indentured servitude, if nothing else.
Yeah.
No, but here's what I'm saying, right? If
Hmm.
Nat Turner was being paid, I wouldn't be asking for reparations. If Frederick Douglass was being paid, I wouldn't be asking for reparations.
But you're
If
not
there was
President
a
Douglas.
whole, if there wasn't Jim Crow, right? Like these groups you're talking about, they didn't have a Jim Crow system set up against them. They just were willing to work for a bad deal. That's not
See,
reparations
I don't
worthy.
understand. I keep racism out of my brain. I keep the color of my Mexican people out of my brain. And I think about the more the better, the furthering of my people instead of what happened in the past. That's why I keep on telling you, Wall Street, the hell with reparations for people in general, all those who deserve it, because it's a slap in the face no matter how it comes. Okay, you're telling me you want to put it in schools. You want to tell me that you want to put it in education for the black folk and community. But then you want to sit there and tell me that you deserve more reparations than the fellow neighbor to you that has the same history as you because he works at a different restaurant and a lower income.
And
That
see,
doesn't make sense with this story.
but
The
wait,
reparations, stop with the
here's the
reparations
problem.
and start doing
Here's the
preparation.
problem, right? Here's the
Simple.
problem. The only problem is what you're doing, right? You're making a comparison of the
No,
struggles. Now,
no, I'm not making
hold
a
on.
comparison.
Let me finish. Let me
You're
finish.
making it a black needs everything.
Yes,
It's
no,
not a
no, no.
comparison.
All right,
I
well,
compared that the Indians,
let me
they had the
respond.
same things as the black folks.
I
They
got you.
deserved the same things. They got less, okay?
I got you.
Black folks have gotten more from the United States government than the Native Americans have
No, we
in the
didn't.
history.
See, that's the problem. That's not true. That's not true. We never received any form of
Hold
anything.
up. You can walk around this land and don't have to be stuck behind a certain fence saying that you can't walk out of that property or you can get in trouble. You have free roam to walk around this nation anywhere from the west to the east, from the north to the south. Indians, Native Americans don't have that, brother. So how in the hell can you say that? You
So,
got freedom. You
so
got a
listen.
whole lot more than my people do. And you sitting here talking about what you don't get and you cry about what you're never gonna get.
And
Stop
see,
doing that, Willie. Start teaching your kids and the black community how to prep like you did. how to prepare things so they can have a better future, so they can sit there and tell somebody, yeah, I deserve more
All right,
reparations
hold
than a
on, hold on,
McDonald's
hold
worker.
on, hold on, hold
That's
on,
what the problem is.
hold
People like
on.
you who keep it going, who think
First
that
of all,
racism is still living. No,
all right,
let it die,
listen to what I'm
bro.
saying.
Let the reparations die. Start
No,
preparing your kids for the future, not for the
see,
past.
and I want you to
That,
hear me. I want you to hear me, Mexican, Einstein, right? Listen, right?
is it?
I would never tell you to put your reparations argument down, right? That's the one thing I'm not doing.
Correct.
Now, hold on. Now, one thing I'm also not doing is comparing the two, right? What happens when you compare what Native Americans receive and the reality of Black America? We've received nothing. We
But
didn't
you're
even receive.
comparing what you should receive and what the McDonald's worker should receive. Ain't that the
No,
same?
no, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
You're
you're not.
telling me that
You're
you
not
deserve
listening.
more money because you're in a better bracket
No, no, no,
than
no,
the
no.
McDonald's worker with the same history you got.
Hear
That's
me
the
out.
words that came
Hear
out
me
of
out.
your mouth, Willie.
Hear me out. No, that's not what came out of my mouth. Listen. And I'm gonna say it slow. Listen. Right? Chill, Mexican Einstein, 'cause I know you the bro, right? But I don't think you understand my argument. I'm saying this is not an issue for us, right? If you're looking at this population of Black people that go from being some of the top attorneys, making hundreds of thousands a year, to the guy at McDonald's, right? Like working the drive through. This is not an issue for us. What I'm saying is he's not the guy getting 8,000. He's not concerned with what I'm getting because of my income. The reality is we're all getting what we are worth in the market now that we could sell an argument for, right? So if the only argument to what I'm saying could be fine, me and him, right? We all get a check for $50,000. I'm not against that. I know that's not going to happen, right? I know American politics enough to know that the one argument that we might be able to win is fine. If you were Black, if you are due reparations, you could be tax free. So we're not arguing on that between each other. You get my point?
Yeah,
It's
I get
not
your
about
point on
me
that.
think yeah, it's not about me thinking I deserve more than homie working at the McDonald's. It's that, all right, if we're dealing with something that we can get while we've got nothing, right? Homie making 35,000, that 8,000 he could take home, he's happy with that. And I'm happy with the double digits I might be able to
Okay,
pull
that's the
up.
problem I see.
That's
And I'm
not a
gonna stop you right there
problem.
because that's the big problem. You in your position right now in life,
That's not a
you
problem for
see it
us.
comfortable enough to say that argument. Go talk to somebody from McDonald's in the same position, talking about the same situation. Ask that man if he's okay with him getting $8,000
Okay,
on
I
his tax
understand it.
reparations and you getting $50,000 on your tax reparations. You ask him that, and I swear to
So
God, that
listen.
man will tell you, you get
So
what?
listen.
You got 50K? I only
No,
got
that's not.
8K? That's gonna happen.
So this is something I know the data on, right? No, that's not true, right? When the tax argument was presented to Black people on a Pew poll, even people that admitted to being lower income are like, well, if I get this, I'm not worried about him getting that, as long as we all get something, right? So that's our argument. That's a very
That's
individual
a flawed
argument.
argument.
It's not
That's a
flawed, it
very
works
flawed
for
argument.
us. That's what I'm saying. Outside of us is where the argument comes. It doesn't come from the guy working at McDonald's because his reality is he's not getting nothing anyway. He'll take the 8,000 annually that he could get
That's fact.
for
100% I agree with you on that. He's gonna take that money because it's free money. But you can't tell me he's not gonna be pissed that you got $42,000 more than he did.
If he does, he's a sucker. We in the black community call that pocket watching.
Yes, sir. I understand that. I understand about the pocket watching. I understand it, but you're telling me because this guy's lower educated system led him to work at McDonald's, he only deserves $8,000 on his tax cut, while you were
So,
fortunate enough to be set up this way and get an education and be set up where you're financially
so
okay,
I
and you
got you. I got you.
deserve
I
a
got you.
fifty
Chill. So
thousand
let me ask
dollars
you a question.
I don't
So let me ask you a
understand that.
question. So let me ask you a question. You're saying the only thing that would be fair is for us to all get an even check, correct?
Wouldn't you consider that fair, or is that not fair? I mean, even
So
though
now, right?
I just
So wait, wait,
struggle.
wait,
Hold up, hold
wait,
up, hold
wait,
up.
wait,
I'm the
wait,
black
wait.
guy that works thirty
Listen,
thousand. Okay, good.
listen, Mexican Einstein. Listen, right? If that was your argument, I have no problem with everybody getting 50, 60,000, whatever, right? Like, but that comes with a payment from the US government. Now, even Mexicans were arguing that I was never involved. I never owned no slaves. I was down with Che Guevara and Hugo Chavez and them. Why should I have to pay reparations? And you know what? That argument from the Latinos and the Asians in California, that was valid. This is when I get to the point of, well, give us a tax credit. If you give us a tax credit, everybody's not going to get the same thing. But we could pay ourselves. You're not paying us. We're getting an opportunity for repair from our work. And our work has a spectrum. It goes from attorneys all the way down to the dude at the drive-thru. You get my point?
I, I
That
kind of
makes
get it.
sense?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Regardless it is, if I was in a situation of this reparation shit, and I found out my homeboy got that load of cash like that, and it just because he's in the tax bracket bigger than me, I'd be pissed, bro.
So think about this though.
It just puts my worth and everything less than his
Here's the only
as far as
problem though.
reparation story.
Here's the only problem. Think about it like this. It's two things. One, Mexican Einstein. What's 100% of zero? Right. My
Zero.
son's in the car. He already answered it. Zero. Right. So if we're getting nothing, right? 100% of zero is zero. But what I don't think you understand about our community, and this is what bothers me, because I know you know what your community would do. Just because I get 50 and he gets 8 doesn't mean our kids aren't in the same track programs. It doesn't mean that when his son gets to a point of going to college, I'm not willing to raise funds for his scholarship. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, in a way, bro. I really don't.
We'll take care of us. But the point is, 0%, I mean, 100% of zero is zero. And that's where we've been. So
Why do you fight for it?
we've been fighting for it.
Yes, please.
So if you're fighting for absolutely nothing, is what you're saying.
No, that's
You
not what I'm
literally
saying.
said 100% of zero
No, that's
is
not what I'm.
zero.
No, that's not the
They're
argument.
expecting to give
Listen.
you
I'm gonna tell you the
zero,
argument.
and you're fighting for
I'm gonna tell you
zero.
the argument. I'm gonna tell you the argument. The argument
I
is
don't understand.
we.
That's the concept I just taught.
I'm gonna tell you the argument. The argument is we have been fighting for reparations. We've been fighting for the unified reparations you're talking about, where everyone gets a check, right? We've gotten zero.
That's the problem. It all boils down to money, and I hate to say it. If you ain't receiving a check,
That's what
reparations ain't over.
reparations is about,
That's just
though,
what it
bro.
is. And I don't understand that concept. Like I said, there's been several other races who've been destroyed by the same system
All
that
right. So
the
you made a
blacks
good
in
point. So let
America
me
have been
ask you this:
destroyed by.
do you have
And
a
yet,
problem with Japanese reparations?
Can we just take a moment
yeah,
to admit how great Publix is? That is the greatest grocery store in the world.
Publix is awesome. Pub Sub
Do
is the
you
best.
do you have a problem with Japanese reparations?
Yes.
Yes,
I don't. I think for the things that happened to the Japanese during World War II, yes, there is a reparations claim, just like the Native Americans have a reparations claim, just like we have a reparations claim, right?
but the
These,
Native Americans have been given the reparations in
so wait,
land.
so wait, my son just asked me, did the Japanese give reparations? Yes, they did. Do you know when? What year? All right, stop. So this is the important part, right? The Japanese got reparations in the 80s, right? They got reparations for atrocities that happened in World War II. World War II ended in what, 42?
We nuked them. We like
Right.
ashed them out, bro. Of course.
You said
Not
what?
all them people deserve to die.
Wait, you said what?
I said not all them people deserve to die. There was a lot of innocent people there. They literally turned
No,
to
no, no, no,
ash.
no, no, no. Wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait, wait,
Multiple
wait.
cities. The city was
No,
gone.
no.
They didn't do that to the black folk.
Hold on. Mexican Einstein, you know, I am what I call a goofy historian, right? And see,
Right.
this is where you're 100% wrong. Japanese reparations had nothing to do with Hiroshima. It had nothing to do with Nagasaki. Japanese reparations were only for the things done to Japanese Americans in America, right? You with me?
Yeah.
America put them in concentration camps, right? This is around the time of, you know, I can't think of the president that thought everybody was a communist, right? But
Are you talking about McCarthy, the McCarthy trials?
McCarthyism, it was McCarthy. My son said Wilson, it was McCarthy. McCarthyism, look that up. I'll be inside in a second,
Why would I look
right?
it up? I just answered your question, brother.
No, I was talking to my son.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Now, you hit it on the head. That's what I was looking for, right? So when I'm making clear that I know you know, right? Japanese reparations had zero to do with Hiroshima, zero to do with Nagasaki. It had to do with what happened to Japanese Americans here in America. You agree, right?
Okay, here it goes. Hold on. The Civil Liberties Act of 1988, signed by President Ronald Reagan, granted formal apologies to 20,000 in reparations to each surviving Japanese American incarcerated during World War II.
Correct.
About 82,000 individuals received payments totaling over 1.6 billion. They weren't slaves. They were
Wait,
prisoners
wait,
of
wait, wait,
war.
wait, wait,
It's a
wait,
difference.
wait.
It's a difference.
Yes, there's a difference. What I'm saying is what happened to black Americans is 10 times worse than the group that has received the reparations they deserve, right? I don't have a problem with Japanese reparations for what happened to Japanese Americans here. I think that makes my argument for what happened for over 250 years even stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Do you think your line of thinking ever keeps black people in
when
victimhood,
did
sir?
Columbus land on the United States?
Wait. Hold on.
1492. Let me see. Since 1492, they've been destroying Native Americans, taking their land, cutting them up, hanging them, raping their women, raping their children, plundering them, putting them in
But
concentration
now,
camps. That's
but now,
since
see, Mexican
14,
Einstein.
whatever, since they first
But
landed.
Mexican
What are you
Einstein.
talking about, brother?
What makes our arguments different is the Dawes Act. We never had a Dawes Act. White people can argue with y'all that they did pay out some form of reparations, right? And I
I, don't,
wouldn't even.
I just don't feel like I owe you a thing.
Hey,
I'm
can I ask
saying,
this question? Well,
So
see,
wait. Let me
if
answer that. Let me answer
reparations
that.
are
Hold on.
owed to those in the past
Hold on.
that were slaves, who is to pay them? The people in the past that were the slave owners, or their
So
families?
again, right? I am not taking like when the gentleman says I don't owe you nothing. I'm not taking this up with individual white men, right? This is why my argument is a tax break, right? Because now, as
An
black
unfair
people,
tax break. Just say it. An unfair tax break.
hold on, black people as a whole, right? Because I understand what he's saying when he says I didn't own no slaves. Cool, right? But what I'm saying is my beef is with America for allowing slavery to take place, for allowing Jim Crow, Plessy versus
What did you
Ferguson.
do to reap any benefit, and what, if any, echo of that last gasp of slavery affects you or your lovely family? Because I don't think any of it does.
So my answer to that would be, and this is why I brought up
And I think I
Japanese.
said that about as respectfully as one could. Like that was, it's not
You
a.
did. You did. So let me answer it. My argument would be that in the same way America deemed it appropriate, right, to give the Japanese reparations, one thing you have to understand is this before you ask me what I've done. Japanese reparations weren't paid out to the 80s for atrocities that happened in the 40s. Most of them were dead. That's how law works. So I am entitled to reap the benefits of how my family was wrong. That makes sense?
I see how you could get to that point, but I disagree.
Yeah, I'm saying like I got a homeboy right now, right? Like shout out to my man too, man. Like it broke my heart. One of the most humble, beautiful black men you'll ever meet from Harlem. He was run over by a truck. He died, right? When that settlement is done, he can't be paid. You understand that, correct? So I'm saying I don't have a problem with his mother getting the money. Like if a child that
Hold on. Eligibility recipients had to be alive when the bill was signed for the Japanese one. So if they weren't alive, their kids didn't get it.
no,
Their
their children
grandkids
did.
didn't get it.
No, that's incorrect.
That's what this says right here.
So
I'm reading it on Google.
what that's saying is to be eligible to be paid, you had to be alive during that time. If you are now dead,
No, that ain't what it
you
says. It says recipients had to be alive when the bill was signed, August 10th, 1988. If they weren't alive, their family members, nobody beyond that got any reparations.
that's
The only
incorrect.
people that got
That's
it were the people
100%
that were
incorrect.
incarcerated.
That's
That's
incorrect.
what I'm reading right here.
I can give you names of people who have done in-depth interviews on their parents being in these internment camps and they receive reparations. Parents dead, right? What that's saying is to be a recipient, right, of this, you needed to be alive during this time period. If you are now dead, that doesn't mean you aren't still a recipient. It's going to go to your next of kin, your estate, however you were set up. A lot of people in their 40s got reparations in the 80s. A lot of people, parents had died.
Oh, that's a lie. Because here it says excluded groups. Payments were not made to families of survivors who died before August 10th, 1988. Huh.
Nah,
That's
well, I
excluded
gotta look
groups.
into
So what do
that.
you have to say to that?
Yeah, I gotta look into that because I've heard
Okay, I
people.
mean, I'm telling you, I'm reading right here on Google what it's saying on it, and you're telling me you have people who've done countless things. This is what I'm talking about. Reparations shouldn't be paid out to nobody because they're not needed. Reparations is made to separate and make an argument for those who want something for free. I'm sorry to say it that way, but but Wall Street, you have not needed anything for free. You have said you are a successful black man. Why are you asking for reparations? Why do you need them? What little bit of money extra are you going to get out of the government that they don't want to give you is the question. These are the things that make me frustrated with this conversation. These are the things that draw my brain insane because you say you deserve money from somebody. You deserve it from me. You deserve it from him. We're the ones who have to give it to you. But yet, you don't want to use it but anything to educate, do education. Then you want a tax break, but the tax break's an unjust tax break because not everybody receives the same amount of money. So therefore, your reparations is more of a value than the person working at McDonald's, which is a flawed system. You need to stop as being a black man and a successful black man. Start teaching kids
All
of
right,
your culture and
all
your
right,
neighborhood these things that you did to further educate and better yourself so they can be like
all right.
you,
Hold on,
a
hold on, hold on. Let's
successful
deal
black
with.
man. That's
Let's.
reparations to
I
me.
got
For
you.
you to educate your young people and make them as smart as you are to make
I
the
got you. So
money
let
you
me.
are so they're not working at McDonald's is a better reparations
All right, hold
than
on. Let's chop
sitting
it up.
and
Let me
waiting for a
respond.
check that you're
Let me
never
respond.
gonna get.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
respond. Right. So to the Japanese reparations, no. Over 82,000 people got reparations that were the survivors, right, of people who had passed away, right? Meaning the victims of these crimes, their children received those reparations, right? That's number one. Now, to what you just said, no. Me putting in work in my community, that is not reparations. That's my work as a black man. That's my duty. That's not reparations, though. That's not making me whole for how my people were wrong. That's just my work. And I do that work. So I want you to understand that part doesn't stop. That part is always an obligation to me, right? Whether we get it or not, it's my job to put black kids in programs where they'll get to college. It's my job to help dudes that come home get with companies that I do business with to get them a job, right? A
So
lot
in
of it is
these jobs
grassroots.
that you're talking about, Wall Street, do you tell these people that they need to sit around and beg for their reparations as well? No.
No,
You're educating them to better the future. You're doing stuff that's beneficial to them.
son,
So why,
no.
being a grown black man, you're not going to teach these people? Yeah, we should sit around and wait for reparations while we're doing this, but yet you can make money like this. Come on, Wall Street. Think
I
about it.
so look, listen,
Logically,
hear what I'm saying, hear
you
what I'm
can
saying.
get
Hear
past
what I'm
that.
saying, because that's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying number one, right? Whether we ever give reparations or not, go get that money, right? So that's always what I'm trying to empower my people to do and teaching my people to do, right? With that being said, back to the reparations conversation. So, no, I'm not looking for you to cut me a check, right? I'm saying I understand in particular the Mexican and Asian argument out of California saying we didn't own slaves. Why should we have to cut a check?
What
So I'm
about the
saying I'm
whites who
not
moved here in the
asking,
50s?
hold on, let me land. So I'm saying I'm not asking America to cut us a check. This is why now I'm dealing with a tax credit, right? Like
Let's do it.
we don't pay taxes.
Well, can you just address the whites that came over here in 1940 and later? Like,
What about them?
I don't know you a thing.
I didn't bring that up. What about them though?
I'm just saying, like, I noticed like the militant blacks on YouTube they have a tendency to throw that term whites, like it's almost like
Right.
there's solidarity among whites.
Mm-hmm.
My family moved here from Ireland in like 1955.
Mm-hmm.
No one in my family should have to pay you. Like none of my taxes should like no
Correct.
one
That's
that I
why I'm
share any
saying I
deal.
should pay myself through
But
a
you're not.
tax
You're
break.
taking it from taxpayers. You ain't paying yourself.
Well, wait, but stop there though, right? Once you align yourself with America, America was responsible for a lot of the crimes against my people.
But you've also aligned yourself with America. You live here. You have a code. You have a birth certificate. You have aligned yourself with the
That's
Constitution of the United States of
well, wait.
America. You live here. You're aligned with it. So now you're the problem to the solution.
But so now you're diminishing the crime
No.
of listen. Just last week, right? Ghana went to the UN for their own reparations argument, right? They won. The resolution was approved, right? This is something that's known around the world. So for you to say that I'm aligning myself as a victim of being here, it's like saying a little girl who is now a citizen of Epstein Island chose to be there, right? There was still a crime that took place.
Would you rather be in Kenya?
Right now,
Yeah. If you had to, would you
no.
rather be an American or Kenyan?
Right now, no. I'm totally an American. I'm an African American. I'm not FBA, right? My stance is my people determined who we were a long time ago. Delineation happened in the 1800s. That's when we became African American. We knew we were no longer like connected to any African tribe. So trying to send me home, that was already tried after the Civil War when I became the Negro problem, right? The answer to that was send them all back to Liberia. But my people chose to stay where we were and fight our fight here. At that point, we became our own people. So I'm not an African. I'm an African American.
No, you're an American. That's the
There is a
problem. You're an
difference.
American. How many generations does it take to be done that? I'm an American, buddy. My dad is straight wetback, straight across the border, swam here at 15 years old. No citizenship. Finally got a citizenship here, bro. And listen, I'm only second generation American on his side, but I'm an American. I'm not Mexican American, bro.
So
Dude,
so
imagine me
look,
walking around. Hey, I'm Mexican American. I'm
so
Mexican
look,
American.
Mexican Einstein, right? Like
I'm
this
Mexican
the
American.
thing. And this is a good thing being put on display, right? If you chose to be a Mexican American, I personally wouldn't have a problem with it. But in my fight against the American government, you are interjecting. The one thing we know, you don't support me to say that, yeah, slavery was a crime. It held black people back from developing to being able to compete on an even level now. These
So
people have been
you're
here
saying that I
since,
said that.
hear
I
what I'm
never
saying?
said that. I
Hold
never.
on.
I,
Let
ne-
me land. These people have been here since Crispus Attucks, the American Revolution, before there was an America, right? We've always been here. For a large portion of that time, we didn't get the equal rights and liberties of an American. So
no,
now
no, no,
why I bring
no.
up
Let me stop you
Japan
there.
is, so now
We
why I
didn't
bring
get
up,
the
hold
equal
on,
and liberty rights as a white
real
person.
quick. So
Is
now why,
what the issue is. Because
wait,
I
what
feel
you
you
say?
on the same thing. I do not get the right liberties and everything as a white person does. I feel
And
you on
I'm
that. I
not,
understand that.
and I'm not
But
fighting your fight.
right.
You've been making arguments against my fight.
No, this is where the problem is. I've never made an argument against it. I made an argument for you to be able to change it.
Hear what I'm
Why?
saying?
Listen, if you have an old lady, listen, Monster. I know this don't include your old lady right now, but if you have an old lady, all she did is bitch and argue, bitch and argue, bitch and argue, bitch and argue all day long, all night long.
Wait. Stay with
Hold
me
up,
though. Let's stay
No,
on the
stay with me.
conversation. Wait. Hear me out. Hear me
We're
out.
on the same topic. I'm just saying though, if she's there bitching and complaining, bitching, are you gonna stay with that situation?
That has nothing to do with the topic. Cause here's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
it does.
Hear what I'm saying,
It
right?
has to do because you're trying to fight something that you're never going to.
Listen to what I'm
Yes,
saying, right? And just acknowledge what you said. If people feel like they're Native Americans, want to fight their fight in any way and want to present anything in any way, I don't like, I literally 9 times out of 10 would simply support it. I'm not going to be critical of it, none of that. Now, when I'm
right.
telling you, right, a black dude working in the drive through doesn't care what I'm getting as long as he's getting money, you're making the argument that we're not even making. I promise you,
I
bro.
don't see
I
that. I don't
listen.
see that.
So
So
this
an
is when,
unfair just system
but
is a
wait,
just
but wait, wait,
system, in
wait,
your
wait.
words.
But this is when you gotta trust me to represent my people, and I gotta trust you to represent yours, right? And that's not even creating a separation between
I,
us. It's
that always
just,
creates separation.
hold on. Hear what I'm
That
saying?
those things right there are what create separation amongst people. Wall Street. The stuff that you spew like that is the things that create separation amongst people.
You're
Like
not
I told
hearing
you,
me.
brother, I don't look at you as a black man from Africa.
But
I
I'm
don't look at you
telling
as a
you
black
to.
man from America.
I'm
I
begging
look
you
at you as
to.
my brother from here in America, and
But
that's it.
wait. Hear what I'm saying? I'm begging you to look at me as a black man. I'm making black arguments. I'm saying we have our own individual fight. And what I'm telling you is whatever Native Americans want to push for, I'm not getting in front of it, right? I'm saying to you as a black man, the argument you're trying to make that if we're going to get anything, we should all get the same check. I'm not against that. But I
Right.
know with American politics, that's not going to win because
Well, let me
America.
ask you this question then. If we're talking about reparations going back to
Let
the
me
people
finish
who
though. Let
enslaved
me
you and stuff like
wait.
that,
Please let me
but what
finish
about the
though.
people that sold you?
Please let me finish though. And then we can
Yeah,
go there. I promise.
yeah. Go ahead. You just take forever to land, bro. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, right, I understand the argument from your group, your people, right? Even though we're brothers, I'm not making that separation. But I understand if a Mexican says, I never owned slaves. If an Asian says, I never owned slaves. So now I have to adjust my argument. And my argument is let us pay ourselves through tax-paying citizens getting a credit. Now, if I do that, all black people ain't gonna get the same amount. But you know what? We don't have a problem with that. The problem you're presenting, we don't have that issue. If I'm working at a gas station, I'm making 40 and I'm gonna get an extra 6 every year. An extra
But
8. I don't have a
but the
problem with
problem
that.
is, Wall Street, is you're not working at a gas station.
That's
You're
not a
not working at
problem.
a McDonald's. You're set far enough that if you got a tax break like that, you would be definitely happy versus that guy who takes that $8,000 check and in the next 2 months has paid all his bills, has paid all his back bills that he's been on, and now he only has $300 out of that $8,000 check
Now,
after a month or two are left. Yes,
here's the
that's what
problem.
happens to that McDonald's worker.
But
That
here's the
McDonald's
problem.
worker can't afford
But
to
here's the
pay the bills
problem, right?
like you. No, hold up. You've talked and I've let you land like 30 minutes at a time. You honestly sit there and say because you're in a better situation, it's okay to be receiving that money that you're receiving because you're going to
Yes.
put it back in your community. While this cat at the McDonald's has been struggling the whole last year, is behind on his bills, has behind on all this stuff, has child support to pay, has that another to pay. That $8,000 check when he receives it is gone. Now, do you think that being that person would rather receive a $50,000 check like you received and that way I can pay all my back bills and live comfortably for the next couple months or the next year. See, that's where the difference is with the thought process of people
But there's a
who
problem.
associate the differences. Hold up. You associate the differences because you're a black man and you deserve this. I understand that. You deserve something. I'm never going to argue that you don't deserve it, Wall Street. The argument that I made with you is that you are going to get it and it's going to be a slap in your face. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. I'm not arguing and telling you I'm against you getting reparations. I never once said that. When you talked
But
about the
this the
educational
problem though, bro.
reparations,
Hear me out.
I
Hear
was
me out.
okay with that. I
Hear me
agree
out,
with
bro.
that.
Hear me out. Hear
I
me out.
agree with that more than I agree with the tax
But
break.
wait. Hear me out. When you say it'll be a slap in my face, you're speaking for me. No, I
No,
want
I'm
the
speaking
money.
from a same person type deal that would be in the same
I'm
situation if
telling
I
you
was
as a black
asking the
man.
same questions.
But wait, here's what you're
I'm
missing.
a dude of a different skin color. You think just because you're darker than me, you've had more problems in this world with things like that? I have probably had more problems with racism than you will ever see in your life, brother.
You're missing the
And that's
point,
true
bro.
fact.
You
You live
miss.
in the hood. You
Can I
live in
tell
a
you the
place
point?
where your communities see you as a black person. I live in areas where people will tell me I'm a stupid fucking spit.
That's where I live right now,
Okay,
right?
so it's the dauntingness that me as an American citizen, second generation on my father's side, fourth generation on my mother's side, can look
But
beyond
wait,
all
wait,
the
wait, wait,
BS
wait, wait,
and
wait.
go forward.
Mexican Einstein, let me make a point real quick, right?
Good.
Here's what I'm telling you, right? I didn't always make what I make now, right? So now
Right.
when I was making 45 a year, right? I'm telling you, for me as a black man making 45, if reparations was processed in this way, that over multiple years at 45, I can get that tax credit, guess what? I'm gonna go from 45 to 65 to 85 to what I make now. That's what I'm gonna be able to accomplish. So I'm telling you, as someone, as a black person that has been there on the lower end of the totem pole, I was able to make it to what I'm making now without the help. With the help, my people up. You get what I'm saying?
No, you would have been up. Your family would have been up. You individually would have been up, Wall Street.
Oh,
And yes, in this reparations thing that I hear all the time, it's the individual person. As long as I receive the amount that is owed to me, I will be happy. That's not a true statement because I received $8,000, this guy received $50,000. I'm gonna get envious because this guy's receiving 150, 50,000 every year. I'm only getting eight. Maybe next year I'll get nine. But this guy went from 50,000 to 60,000.
as
See,
funny
this
as,
is the process that people don't see when they talk about the
but
reparations.
listen,
When you
listen.
went
Hear what
towards
I'm
the
saying. Hear what I'm
educational
saying.
portion, I
This
was
is the
all
part.
100 with you.
Wait, this the
But
part you're leaving out, right? I was a man making a super small income. I never got that boost, right?
and
What
you
I'm
made it to
telling you,
where you
hear
are
me out,
now,
hear me
Willie.
out, hear me out. What I'm telling you is, right? Who I've become now, it didn't happen overnight. And I never got, right, a boost. I never got a handicap, right? I'm telling you, had I gotten that boost when I was making 45, 35, working in the HWC, it was the Young Men's Hasidic, HMHA, right? When I was working in the, what was it, locker room, right? And making that 35. If
Mhm.
I would have gotten this idea that I have, I, as a black man making that, would have been receptive to it. I'm telling you, don't worry about us, right? We'd be receptive to it. We're not as hung up on the. We understand
But
if
it's
you get
hard. It's hard. It's hard to stay out of it, Willie, if that's all we ever hear. How can we be staying out of something that we're brought into conversations to? If you do not want us in the conversation, then you keep us out of those
so
conversations.
you know the honest truth. I want your support, right? Like this
Yes, sir.
idea that I'm coming with, right, is not about you paying me. I agree. Your parents didn't own slaves, but the reality was, through legislation, America wronged me, whether at a state level or a federal level, right?
Where
So I'm
does that
saying,
change?
so I'm
Because you
saying,
keep on coming back to that, Willie. You keep on coming back to that portion of, oh well, it's certain amounts and certain this and that. No, but it's got to be an even across the board. Hey, listen, if you would have
it
got them
doesn't
reparations
for us,
back
bro.
then, you'd probably be a total different gentleman right now. But yet, the people from then on wouldn't be getting reparations. They would be mad because you're getting the reparations and they're not. It's an
No, we
ongoing
wouldn't.
situation.
I
This
am
is where
telling
it's
you,
hard.
this is where you gotta, if you told me when Native Americans, Mexican Americans wanted, my concern would be supporting you because I believe in you. I'm telling you, right? I've made 35, 40,000 a year.
I understand that, Willie. I understand what you're saying.
So
I
when
guess
I'm,
you don't understand what I'm trying to comprehend and say with
I
you.
do.
I totally agree that something needs to happen. What I'm trying to say is when it does happen, nobody's going to be happy about it. Okay?
No,
You
I
may
disagree.
say, you may say you're happy with that. Because right now, in
You
this
know who
time
I
and
think
world,
would be the most
you're
happy?
financially set
Look, you
that
know
it
who I would
doesn't
be?
really matter.
Look, you know who I think would be the most happy, right? White people would be the most happy because if something is worked out, we can finally take this argument, this stain to America off the table, right?
But that can be done without that.
How?
That can be done by stop the. Gosh, I hate to say this over and over, and I know you may get mad when I say this, but stop the reparations and start the preparations, bro.
Nah,
Honestly,
that's not fair.
teach
And
our
I wouldn't
kids
tell
the
you,
best
wait,
to
wait,
get
wait.
better.
Mexican
You have
Einstein.
taught your
Wait, wait,
kids.
wait.
Hold up,
Mexican Einstein, hear me out. You made the argument that Native Americans still deserve another level of reparations. And what I
no,
told you was, hold on.
no. Go ahead.
So Native Americans don't deserve nothing?
No, no, no. They got theirs, and you know what they did with it? They built hotels and casinos. That's what I told you earlier. They
But
made
that's
fortunes
not the
off of it.
real
They
history,
make
bro.
hundreds and millions
That's
off of
not the
it.
real history,
Not
bro.
every tribe, not everyone was put into that. There's
Nah,
Native
that's not the
Americans
real
that
history,
don't
bro.
deserve the stuff.
So
There's
what do you know
also,
of the Doors Act?
I don't know anything of the Does Act. I'll have to look into that because
So let me tell you
I
about it.
looked at, huh?
Let me tell you about it, right? So what the Doors Act was Native American groups were given reservations. The Dawes Act created individual ownership for these different people who were documented on these reservations. So
Right,
now everybody gets a piece,
right,
right? So
right.
in that, the argument can be made that y'all received something. I'm telling you, as black people, the only thing we've received is a fair opportunity. Nothing has been done to correct the wrongs. And now we live in a world where many groups have a massive head start on us. So throwing out the reparations argument Nah, that's not the answer. The answer is wrapping this shit up. Because I'm telling you, as a black American, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm saying figure out something to put on the board for us so either we get it right or we don't.
But that's what the argument is for me, Willie, and that's my argument. You guys are teaching your future kids that this is what you need to fight for. That's why you need to prep them for better education yourself. You need to bring them into the higher life of learning of what it is to be a grown black man, a respectful black man, instead of being out in the
But
street.
you do
And
understand
I
this
hate to
is a
say this,
part
the
of the
majority of
reparations
black folks
argument, right?
and the stuff that happens in black
You
folks'
do
community
realize
is
everything
out in
you're
the
saying
streets,
is a
Willie.
part of the reparations argument. You understand
Sir,
that?
what'd you
Like
say?
everything you're saying is literally a part of the reparations argument. Like I
And
literally broke down in the space of education. That's an area where I think black people
and
should
I
just
was with you with that 100%. I would fight for you to start some kind of organization for reparations that be done in education. That to me would be simply something better. But in the long run, Willie, like El Him said, how are you expecting people after the 1940s to pay stuff to this organizational thing that you're trying to do? You will have to now document the people who were in the 1940s and before who now owe the reparations to those people who were enslaved from that time. So see the complications of it? What the thing is, you said it perfectly. You're a black man that's tired of hearing it yourself. So instead of bringing the argument up like that, why not bring an argument up to teach the kids more education? Instill your neighborhoods with more of that. And that's all I'm saying, Wall Street. I appreciate it. I'm not against you receiving something. I'm not against you getting some kind of platform to get it done. The whole reparations and education, I like that. I was with you on board about it. But in this world, everybody wants to receive a whole check of something they're not gonna get. So it's complicated to understand. He sat here and told me 100 times 0 is still 0. So if you're gonna sit here and argue for decades that reparations need to be owed, I'm not saying they don't need to be. But you need to come into a formal way of saying this is what we would like. Not everybody wants an education, really. Not everybody wants to be given a tax break that makes a difference on how much I receive. That makes an inequality. So that's where I don't understand the concept of it. I'm for slaves at the time to be given back something somewhere down the line as far as what needs to be done. But that's not always true. You had black slave owners, you had white slave owners, you had Spanish slave owners all across this nation. And to be said that one specific group or the whole United States as an America owes you now those taxes, where are you going to get it from? The black Americans that are now Americans as well? Do they now have to give reparations to those black enslaved that were before them? This is where I don't understand the argument of the reparations. I may catch heat for this. I may get a lot of problems. I've had in my personal lives, have talked to people on this subject in many different forms. I just don't see why fighting for something that you're never going to receive is worth a fight. I would rather fight to teach my community and my kids in my community how to better educate themselves and better be more like a successful person that I am. Let's say Wall Street looks very successful, has a house, kids, family, receiving enough on his pay. He's well educated in some of the stuff he talks about. That's what I look forward for something to get as far as reparation. Teach our kids how to be not in the streets and not doing the foulest shit that's out here that's drawing them to be begging for this reparations. Educate them so that way they can take the white man's money like you're talking about, Willie, in the better ways. You know, I've always said I do to the white man what the white man been doing to me all my life. I bug their women. That's what I do. And no offense, it's just a little thing that's a payback sort of type deal on this subject. Because you want something paid back, but you're unsure what you want. By the time you pass from this earth, Willie, that argument will still be lasting. You could be one of the ones who educate the young black folks in the communities that we don't need to argue or fight about that problem anymore, that we can better ourselves without that situation. To understand that that fight is what holds people back, it's true. It holds you back, bro. Don't let it hold you back. And as far as I've seen, it has not held you back. You are a successful black man. Teach kids that. Teach kids in the community the stuff they need to teach that showed you growed out of that situation, brother. Don't argue with me and tell me that I'm telling you that you don't deserve it. I'm telling you deserve some. There's some form of situation that is deserved. But where does the line stop? Where does the bloodline end on that account? Do you have to be fully 100% from the enslaved nation to be able to receive this? Like the Indian nations. If you're 50% bloodline of the Indian nations, you don't get inducted. You don't get anything from them. Similar tribe. If you're a certain percentage, they give you checks. Why? Because white folks, black folks, and Mexican folks, and the hell of fuck a lot of Chinese folks go and gamble on their reservations. So when somebody like me, who has a percentage of Indian blood and can say I'm part of this unique individually clan, and they're getting checks off of that, I know several people in my lifetime. Because of these situations, they are set for life. And it's not because the government gave them the money. It's because the individual groups of people decided this is what they gave us. If we can't build outwards, we'll build upwards. And guess what? We'll make all the parcels that we need to make our money back so we're happy. You think these people on the reservations were set there and put there and encaged there while you walk around free is something that should be awarded or something? I don't understand that, Willie. And it's always with you too. You always bring that subject up. It's always reparations with you, brother. But yeah, you don't need them. Yes, back in the day when you were receiving $40,000, back in the day, it would have been great. But guess what? Your kids would have never been able to receive reparations. But that's what everybody gears towards. That's what everybody pushes. The next generation has to receive reparations too. How far down the line? Do the Indians get reparations? Do the Chinese get reparations? And this is for enslavement. This isn't for the Japanese thing that he was talking about. That's a whole total different subject. That subject is literally about incarcerated, detained Japanese in a war. POW, prisoners of war. Slaves weren't prisoners of war. Slaves were sold by blacks. Slaves were taken by whites. Slaves were taken by conquistadors. And they were sold to them. They weren't necessarily plumaged and villaged and went in there and just took them. No, there was places in the Caribbean. There was places in the islands. There was places in Africa where they were being sold by their own people. So where does this go back to? This is the subject that tears my brain so much. People think I'm against it and that they shouldn't receive something or this and that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you receive it, my people receive it. If we don't receive it, you shouldn't receive it. And as a matter of fact, stop asking for it and go around it. Better yourself so you don't have to sit there and have this argument with people about what you're deserved to have in this world because something happened in the past that was heinous. What about all the Jays? Do they all reserve reparations for the stuff that happened over there in Hitler's thing? Does the Russians need to pay? They're not going to pay them. They don't care. So why fight for an argument that nobody's going to give you? If you're fighting for 0 times 100, you still get 0. If you get 100 into 0, you can't because it just don't fit. Okay, no matter how the argument you put it, Willie, 0% out of 100 is still 0. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. You're arguing for that percentage. Why? Why fight it? Why sit there and take this and teach your kid to fight the fight for you? I'm lost with this. Totally fucking lost. And it's the factor that you bring it up in every podcast, every situation. I'm your homie, nigga. I'll rock with you, bro, but I'm telling you, that's the only thing on your conversational mind anytime you get up here. Reparations. Stop teaching reparations and start teaching preparations. You start teaching your kids how to prep themselves for the future. And this goes for anybody who's arguing the fact. If you start teaching your kids how to prep themselves for the future so they make a better choices, better money living, better housing, whatever it is. Stop asking for the past. Start asking for the future. That's what Willie needs to understand. He argues the factor of reparations every time. In every podcast, it always ends up with the Jim Crow and the reparations shit. Brother, you need to get over that. I'm pretty sure you do not teach your kids to go out there and ask for reparations every day. I can almost put 100 on it that you won't sit there and tell your kids that no matter what you do in education and how well you successfully get, you still need to stand out on the corner and hold a sign and say you need reparations. I bet you don't teach your kids that. You may talk it because your history has been that to you, but you don't teach that to your kids. And if you do, that's just going to further the problem that you're trying to stop. Put them boys in good colleges. You pay for it. Be proud that you're a black man that can pay for your kids' college, Willie. You don't have to worry about reparations, brother. That's what I'm trying to get to you. I'm not saying black people don't deserve something. I'm not saying your fight is the same as the Indians' fight. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying just stop it. Move on. Something better in life, bro. Teach your kids the future, not the past. Can't get nowhere. We still stepping backwards. Go forwards. I was just say, y'all have a good night. It was great. 4 hours. It only was supposed to be 2 hours. But I'm going to enjoy. Be safe. Be careful. And y'all have a good night. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Trust me on that.
end screen.